Here we are, day number 2, talking all kinds of news as we walk into pick number 33 overall. The Buffalo Bills are drafting. They're on the clock essentially right now, and we'll be discussing what in the heck they do with this pick. They traded down. They kept trading down. And part of me, and I think a lot of people, and I don't think we're wrong on this assumption, the Buffalo Bills traded down to buy time potentially to work out a Deebo Samuel deal. Not really a Brandon Aiyuk deal. Doesn't sound like those are on the table anymore, but that's okay because they moved up. They put themselves in a position, in my opinion. A lot of Buffalo Bill fans were upset about this move down, constant move down, because they thought Worthy should have been in Buffalo. You gave KC Worthy. How could you do that? I don't look at it that way. I don't know that I would have taken Worthy over McConkey. I think Adonai Mitchell is a guy you look at, you consider. Absolutely. Adonai Mitchell in Buffalo would be great. Keon Coleman, there's some things I like and I don't like about him. Xavier Legette ended up going. I would have considered him as well at 28, I suppose, for sure. But I really love Ladd McConkey. Ladd McConkey is an absolute potential gem. Adonai Mitchell, Ladd McConkey, Keon Coleman. This is probably, if we had to guess, wide receiver potentially right here. But let's get to the news before the draft kicks off. Day 2, number 33 overall, Buffalo Bills on the clock. Let's get right to the news that we have at hand. Hit that like button on the way in the door. We have 120 people immediately in the building here. If you're from YouTube, the 100 of you from YouTube, punch the thumb up button. I appreciate you being here. Let's talk about this Deebo Samuel situation first, then we'll go over to the Penix Jr. convo. And I'll probably do a different video on Penix Jr. in that situation, because I think that situation is getting blown out of proportion. I think a lot of people are running their mouth about it, and it's pretty popular to be against it. And I think a lot of people want to blame Atlanta for what I believe to be a creative move. We'll get into that in a minute. But Deebo Samuel, according to multiple reports, is the most likely to get traded if a deal was still to go down tonight, because, like I said, the moment A.J. Brown signed his massive contract live on air yesterday during the beginning part of the draft, this news broke right here, and I stood up from my chair and started like screaming, and I'm yelling, what are the Niners doing? What are the Niners doing? Look at the guaranteed money this man's getting, $84 million guaranteed. But Smitty, A.J. Brown and Aiyuk aren't the same player. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It affects everything. It's an interconnected web of contracts that when one gets pulled up, the one below it gets pulled up, and so forth. So the moment this happened, and the Eagles are playing 3D chess or 5D chess, and everyone else is playing checkers, this team is set up to not only win the division, but destroy the entire NFC. This is my early favorite to be the NFC champions. They've done everything right. They're playing 5D chess. And they went ahead and stepped all over the Niners with this move. It was a strategic move in part, as well as a move they wanted to make anyway. But to drop this right in the NFL draft, right in the lap of the Niners who are potentially looking to move Aiyuk, this changes Aiyuk's mindset. This changes what teams are willing to pay him. And it basically priced Aiyuk out of any sort of trade. And there's no way to negotiate or get a back-end deal done with Aiyuk that makes sense for a team to give up draft capital and say this is worth it. So absolute 5D chess by the Eagles on this one. So probably most likely we see no Deebo or Aiyuk trade today. But if a trade does happen, it will be Deebo Samuel that ends up being moved. What is the likelihood that he gets moved? Pretty low, considering we're running out of time right now. The Buffalo Bills are on the clock, and the New England Patriots and the Buffalo Bills are the only seemingly interested teams in Aiyuk. And once you start getting into the picks right here, there's just no opportunity for the Niners to say this is worth it to us to get rid of Deebo. Now, did the Niners draft Ricky Parasol yesterday in anticipation they might still get a deal done? There was word from several sources that broke, and everybody reported on it, including Niner pages everywhere. And I don't blame them, because these reports were everywhere that DeJean was taken by the 49ers with that number 31 overall pick. And then as everybody reported DeJean was taken, all of a sudden, boom, the news broke that it wasn't. It was Ricky Pearsall. And Pearsall's a great wide receiver. Actually wouldn't have minded him in Buffalo either. McConkey and Pearsall are really, really solid players. But at the end of the day, you wonder, did that mix-up, that crosshair reporting end up initiating some sort of like speculation and rationale as to why they did that was related to a Deebo Samuel Aiyuk trade talk that was going to linger into today and this morning and last night. And it doesn't seem like Aiyuk's getting traded. That what I can almost say with a certainty, and you can never say never. But I think Deebo is the most likely to get moved if anything is going to happen. But according to this report, according to the fact that we are looking at the two most likely parties to be involved in the trade to be using their second rounders in minutes, Deebo's probably not getting moved unless something happens like right now. And so we'll be checking Twitter and seeing if there's any sort of announcement. I'll keep refreshing during the entirety of the stream. There'll probably be some sort of breaking news. There'll be something that we're talking about along the way. So that's out of the way. We'll move this over to the side. No more Deebo Aiyuk talk probably. And did the Niners make a bad decision in taking a wide receiver that they may or may not use? They've got Ronnie Bell. I know Ronnie Bell hasn't proven anything yet, but I love Ronnie Bell. I think Ronnie Bell was worth putting in the third receiver role. You spent a pick on him. He looked really good. He had, I believe, 6 to 8 receptions. I think he had 6 receptions last year, 6 to 9 receptions last year, and he had 3 touchdowns. So Ronnie Bell's efficient. He looks good. He looks the part, and he got kind of doghoused like Aiyuk did early in his career, because that's what Shanny does. Why are we not giving Ronnie Bell a look? Why is Ronnie Bell not important enough to thrust into that wide receiver? And they love Jennings over in San Francisco. I don't. But why don't you give that opportunity to those guys instead of Ricky Pearsall, who I love, but I don't know that the Niners will use Ricky Pearsall. So I think the Niners botched the entire offseason so far, all the way up to their pick. And everyone says I can be a hater. He's a hater about this. He's a hater about that. I'm a Shanahan doubter. I am not a 49er hater. I love a lot of 49er players. I'm a huge Aiyuk and Deebo fan. Christian McCaffrey is a godsend to fantasy football. But I think Shanahan and the Niners have crapped the bed the entire way throughout this. I give them an F- so far with the Pearsall pick, even though I love him. I love him. I walked into Raj's live stream 2 nights ago and said, if you do end up trading Deebo or Aiyuk, draft Pearsall. The years before when we talked about Aiyuk, I said draft Aiyuk. I've been telling these guys who they should take. Not saying anyone's listening. I'm just saying I'm the one speaking Pearsall into existence. I was the one speaking Aiyuk into existence. None of the Niner fans knew who Aiyuk was. It comes from ASU. I'm an ASU born and bred. ×2. Graduated ×2 from ASU. These are my boys. Jaden Daniels. ASU's been feeding the NFL with a bunch of talent lately. Rashad White. You got Jaden Daniels. Ricky Pearsall. These are ASU born bred people in their roots. Penix Jr. This situation is ridiculous, and I'm going to do a live stream on this independently so everybody knows my stance on it. But it is frustrating to watch all the hate getting slung at this kid, Michael Penix Jr. What a bad pick! What a bad pick! What a bad pick! What are the Falcons doing? First of all, if you're watching this channel, you may just be here for NFL news, because I feel like I do. No, not trying to be arrogant about this, but I think we do a better job with NFL news and being an NFL show than really any show out there. I really pride myself, especially in the offseason. I know we get a lot of super chats during the year and we go into a hardcore fantasy football hybrid mode more so than NFL news, but we still cover news more than anybody. I'll do the intro, 10-15 minutes of every show on the 8 p.m. show, which is this show right here. We just launched it early today, an hour early. I feel like no one hits it like we do. But this is a fantasy football show, right? We got 278 of you in the building, 229 from YouTube, 233 from YouTube now. Punch the thumb up button. We got 70 thumbs up. I believe that from a fantasy perspective, dare I step out on a ledge and say that this is probably the best situation we could have dreamed for from a fantasy football perspective. What is everybody complaining about? Why on earth is everybody upset? Buffalo Bills selecting wide receiver at pick 33. Okay, is it Keon Mitchell? Breaking news, Bills are drafting Keon Coleman. I was saying AD Mitchell. Keon Coleman. Keon Coleman drafted with the number 33 overall selection. I like this kid, and I don't in some respects. Reminds me a little of Jameson Winston. Just his antics and behavior. I don't know, but dude, you give anybody to Josh Allen, and they're going to the moon. So it looks like Keon Coleman is a Buffalo Bill. Let's go ahead and change this out and update this as we move along on the topic at hand. I got a couple of super chats as well. The New England Patriots are on the clock. Do they go Ladd McConkey? Do the Cardinals go Ladd McConkey? They got a lot of other holes, but good God, my Cardinals got Ladd McConkey and Marvin Harrison Jr. And I'm not worried about Marvin Harrison if you get Ladd McConkey. There's enough to go around. They need somebody, right? Ladd McConkey. I've never thought of the Cardinals having both wide receivers. Does New England go Ladd McConkey? Do they go AD Mitchell? I believe New England's going to go AD Mitchell. So Coleman goes to the Buffalo Bills. It's a good pick. Keon Coleman had a bad 40 time, but because of the amazing job by the NFL, making it a lot more, should you say, detailed and deep diving, you could say, in the combine, they started to implement miles per hour data in a lot of the 40 times and field work. And Keon Coleman was one of the slower wide receivers in the 40, but the number one wide receiver miles per hour in the route running drills. So that was an amazing statistic to be handed that in the past we may not have, and we would have come away with he had a bad combine. He doesn't run fast. He's not quick, but he's proving that game speed is so much different, something we've known for years, but it's something you debate. It's almost like finding the evidence and the science and the flux capacitor and the gigawatts and the megavolts and the component structures of the workload divides that make us realize that Keon Coleman is one of the faster wide receivers in the draft class, just from a different angle and perspective. So this is a great move. There's no reason that under the tutelage of this man, Josh Allen, Keon Coleman can't become a top 15 wide receiver in the National Football League. The wide receiver that lands here, it is Coleman, we now know, has the potential to be, did I spell Coleman wrong? Dang it. Hold on. Sorry. I fat fingered it. My system is running slow because I'm trying to do 100 different things at once. But the thing about Keon Coleman is you're getting a guy, whoever gets drafted here in Buffalo, and we now know it's Coleman, is in the conversation for the number 2 wide receiver redraft in this rookie draft class. Dynasty, Neighbors is the number 2. But from a redraft perspective, Keon Coleman, Xavier Worthy, and whoever goes here is a potential too. Whoever goes here is probably not going to be number 2, but I'm excited about if the Cardinals do draft Ladd McConkey. The Chargers could go wide receiver here. Ladd McConkey could go here. That would be an excellent landing spot. Who the hell knows if they draft Blake Corum right here? It's like, have I been right on the Chargers so far? Or have I been right on the Chargers so far? Can we at least get an amen on that? Because I'll tell you what, before we get in any more into the Michael Penix Jr. situation, we're talking about your boy Smitty drawing this up like it's a blueprint. This guy has been very, 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 very set in his ways to develop this team in a no big name, no splashy, no locker room names on their alphabetical order. No man is over the team. No man is bigger than the team. And some might say they like that mentality, but this is the NFL. These are grown men in the locker room. And the pass on Neighbors, I believe, is a grave mistake. Even though you can build from the trenches. Of course you can build from the trenches, but you can also coach up the trenches. You can also find great value in the second and third rounds in the trenches and coach it up and get closer to having an elite talent at the offensive line position with the coach up move and proper coaching and proper guidance and sleeper detection in the offensive line market, more so than you can find ever again a Malik Neighbors, a Rome Odunze, or a Marvin Harrison Jr. 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 generational wide receiver talents that in their own right could be a top 5 wide receiver. This wide receiver class was trying to feed us 3 top 12 wide receivers, maybe even top 10. We may have only got 2, one of which, Odunze, I don't know when he'll emerge in that territory because it's a crowded wide receiver room, but injuries could open doors. And I think Caleb's good enough talent-wise to feed, just like Fields did when Fields was failing in Chicago, mainly due to Chicago, but he was failing in Chicago, still fed DJ Moore. Odunze can still get fed from a fantasy perspective, so not too concerned about it long term. It's not my favorite landing spot, but it's solid for the long term, not good for a redraft. The same thing can be said for Neighbors. Solid long term if Dable stays, they develop a quarterback next year. It's a decent situation. The Chargers are coming up in the draft, making a trade. Chargers, Patriots, I believe, are swapping picks here. Woo! Woo! So we gotta do a little maneuvering here. So Patriots are moving down. Are they going wide receiver here? So we're going to move this over here. I got to do a little screenshot action because this is a stagnant image. But we'll make it work. We'll figure it out. So New England Patriots moving, I believe, to this spot if I know what they're doing here. I believe it's a swap. I believe there's a pick swap involved. I'll correct it if I'm wrong. And then we got this right here. So on the clock are the Chargers. And I don't know what they're doing with this pick, but we'll find out in a second. Ladd McConkey? Is it Ladd McConkey? Ladd McConkey. I like this move. Is it... Sorry, Travis. Travis wanted probably Ladd McConkey. This is a good move. It's the best move you could have made in this position. Does it excuse ignoring Neighbors? No, it doesn't. The Cardinals are on the clock. A little disappointed Ladd McConkey isn't there for the Cardinals, I'll be honest. Ladd McConkey, wide receiver, such a great player. I like this guy a little bit more for Buffalo, I'm not going to lie. But, I still think that Josh Allen's going to make it work. But Ladd McConkey going to the Chargers, solid move. This is a good wide receiver. Does he become a top 10 wide receiver in the National Football League? No. I love him. He's a good player, but I think that unfortunately this landing spot, while very good, makes him an amazing wide receiver too, potentially in fantasy. But it's definitely not Neighbors. Would I rather have an offensive lineman here to coach up and get to a more close elite level, and then take Neighbors or Odunze? Yes. So McConkey, an offensive line, Joe Alt, great lineman that you're almost forcing into your offense though. So that was an interesting move. This is crazy. Chargers got key. Is Ladd number 1 in LA? Yeah, Ladd's the number 1 in LA. Day 2 trades are in motion, man. Ladd McConkey, good pick. Okay, so real quickly, Smitty sounds disappointed. Ladd getting passes from Herbert. Not disappointed. It's a good spot for Ladd. It's a really good spot for Ladd. In Buffalo, he could have been a little bit better. In this offense, which it's going to feed him, Prime. There's no doubt about that he's the number 1 in his offense, or has the chance to be the number 1 in his offense. No doubt about it. He's a great wide receiver, but you are talking about a little bit of a different situation, Prime. I mean, think about it. Use your logic, pal. Like Buffalo or Chargers with a good open spot for targets. I don't know if you heard anything I said. It's a great spot. It's just not the most of elite spots. I just don't know why you wouldn't take... Well, I know why, because you're Harbaugh. And you want little more vanilla than flashy, which some might like. I don't like that better. I like Neighbors or a Dunze with a second-round offensive lineman that I coach up more so than Joe Alt, who doesn't even necessarily fit exactly your offense. You know, now you got to move things around a little, which is Harbaugh doesn't care about that stuff, but I would. And I'd rather have a second-round offensive lineman and Neighbors, or a second-round offensive lineman and a Dunze, because I think they're a generational talent. This is more proof of Ladd is kind of like a he's kind of a mix between Cooper Kupp and Julian Edelman, and some could say Puka, but he will not be Puka in LAC. He will be very good in LAC. He will not be Puka in LAC. This isn't the best landing spot. It's just a darn good landing spot because the volume's there. Now the Arizona Cardinals select. Who are they selecting here? Is anybody surprised they didn't take Roman Wilson? I'm a little shocked they didn't take Roman, but I will say this man is building what I predicted him to build, is vanilla as you can get given the draft capital you have. I love McConkey, but did anybody expect this team to be having a McConkey and offensive lineman? I did. And I think it's going to be fantasy underwhelming to a significant degree. And if anybody like Prime or anybody's going to try and say that I'm off base on this, tell me where I've missed even once on talking and predicting about Harbaugh. You can't, because we've nailed it every single freaking step of the way. Oh, no, he'll take Neighbors. No, he won't. He's going offensive lineman. He'll probably take Joe Alt. Joe Alt doesn't even fit the position of need on the offensive line, Smitty. They're not going to take Alt, then they got to move guys around. I was 100% right there. So stop with the trying to predict or outmaneuver me on predicting Harbaugh's situation. And, of course, did the Cardinals trade out of this pick? $35 overall is not the Cardinals, it's the Falcons now. What was the trade on that? I assume they moved down to the 11? I mean, I hope so. Did the Cardinals get the 11 pick in the second round? Did they get, hopefully, the draft selection at least? God, I can't stand when Monty Ossenfort starts moving around thinking he's a magician with his draft pick maneuvers. I really wanted to take somebody here. So the Falcons are on the clock with this pick. We'll see what happens. They're on the clock. I'll put that right here. Falcons on the clock here. What was that draft? Cardinals traded the 43. Okay. They got the 43. Thank you for letting me know, because I'm running a live stream here, and I will turn to you guys from time to time for some support on this, because your boy doesn't have a board hop. Your boy doesn't have an intern. Your boy isn't. We got Clemson DT or it's hard to say his name. It's Orhorhoro. Is it offensive tackle? That's how I walk up to the podium. Hey, Smitty, announce this pick. With the 35 overall pick, the Atlanta Falcons, who traded for the selection with the Arizona Cardinals, are selecting Clemson defensive tackle Orhorhoro. All right. Here we go. Sorry, I'm late. Keon Coleman. Yeah, Keon Coleman to the Buffalo Bills. Look, it could be worse, but I would have kind of rather had Ladd McConkey there. I'm not going to lie, but Okay, so Cards trade down. Patriots going wide receiver here. I know freaking poor Travis has been waiting for his team. Orhorhoro. I think it's pretty easy to pronounce, actually. It's Orhorhoro. It is hard. Orhorhoro. How the hell do you say it? Orhorhoro. I think I got it. Orhorhoro. Orhorhoro. That's pretty easy once you get it. What idiot can't say that name? A month from now, someone's going to call into the phone line and go, you know that defensive tackle, Orhorhoro? And I'm going to go, Orhorhoro, bro. Say it correct. Orhorhoro. It's pretty easy, bro. Use some common sense, bro. Come on. Use your brain. Look, Travis, hopefully you get Adonai Mitchell right here. I think that would be a pretty solid move for you, my guy. Adonai Mitchell to the moon. Let's see how many people are in here. We got 367 of you fine individuals in here. 301 from YouTube. Please punch that thumb up button. And please subscribe if you're new. No one goes live more than I do. We go live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern every single Monday through Friday. We go live on the graveyard shift at midnight Eastern, roughly, almost every night, practically. I go live when big news breaks. Nobody does that. Nobody fires up their studio, walks in, and goes live when big news breaks. So please subscribe if you're new. Orhorhoro, easiest name in the world to pronounce, by the way, was drafted by the Atlanta Falcons. Cardinals traded that pick to him. I would have loved McConkey, but he wouldn't have made it. But, man, or even, what if you took Adonai Mitchell as the Cardinals? I know the Cardinals are trying to amass. They got defensive problems for sure. And, look, a lot of defensive play. Look, if you want to say Monty Ossenfort's doing some amazing work here, how many defensive players have been taken? Like, one? Practically? It seems like it. We had, almost no defensive players go in almost the entire, 2/3 of the first round. So, there's so many good defensive players left. The Cardinals can fill some voids and some needs if as long as the right guys fall. My fear is you still got a couple elite defensive guys there, and I just hope they fall down to the 11 pick in the second round. And they might, and then Monty's going to be a hero. But Cardinals, I got this video dropping tonight about midnight Eastern. If any of you are watching and you haven't subscribed yet, or you don't know what time it is that this is your favorite channel now, this is the only place you come for year-round, 365, multiple live streams per day here on the channel. This video is coming tonight. Is MHJ the number one overall Dynasty wide receiver? Is in one calendar year are we saying that this man is the number one wide receiver in fantasy football? Redraft, Dynasty, doesn't matter. And is this Arizona Cardinal team? And I'm normally not biased in favor of my Cardinals or speaking about Buffalo Bill situations. I really do bring an unbiased take to the table, or you be hearing me pump up the Cardinals every offseason and you hear me do none of that. I'm as real as it gets when it comes to separating my fandom from fantasy, so much so that I root for players to get drafted in better spots than the Cardinals every year until right now, because I feel like this fit is perfect. You've got a top 2 tight end in Trey McBride. You've got a capable, 5 to 8 quarterback. I say 5 to 8 because you got a lot of talent trying to fight for a top 8 spot, and it's no shame in being 5 to 8. That's fantastic. A 5 to 8 quarterback fantasy-wise in Kyler Murray. A top 2 tight end right now in Trey McBride. Bowers could climb up there if he gets a quarterback. Who knows if they draft Rattler, Milton, or make some sort of Tom Brady little Hail Mary later on in the year. And they've got arguably, in my opinion, the number one wide receiver in the National Football League 1 calendar year from today. And if you say I got the second best tight end in the league and I've got the number 1 wide receiver in the league, who's to say this guy can't climb into the top 5, inside the top 5 fantasy-wise, and he runs the football? Does he stay healthy? Maybe that's something we factor. But good God, how is this stack not one of the best stacks in football? Tell me.
The stack above all stacks.
Oh, it is.
It's time
it is.
To drop the pancake emoji.
Would you looky here, reindeer? You've got Kyler MHJ McBride. You've got Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. Triple stack, double stack. I know we had the Houston Texans stack on here at one point, and they're kind of a quad stack now. But the honest truth about that situation is that it just the cost of entry in fantasy is not good. You gotta spend. It's kind of falling for Diggs near the top of round 3, but you got Diggs near still bottom round 2 value. Nico inside round 2. Tank Dell still at the top of 3. Stroud's the only value, and he's the one that's going to blow up the most. But it's kind of a stack not worth grabbing. The KC stack's interesting, but it's not the Cardinal stack. I'm a little bit behind on these picks. What do we got here? Deebo Samuel on the phone asking. I spoke with Deebo Samuel on the phone, asked his reaction to the 49ers drafting his potential replacement and to the reports that they explored trading him. I know what's going on, he said, but it is what it is. I'm good with staying with them. I'm chilling, says Deebo. So it sounds like Deebo is a little bit turned off, in my guesstimation, right? He's a little bit turned off on the whole ordeal, the fact that he was being kicked around in trade negotiation. Who likes to hear that they're getting traded? And while there is some something to this, let me see, where are we at on the draft? Remind me where we're at if I need someone to remind me. What did the New England Patriots do? Did they trade again? No, they're on the clock right here. Washington Commanders. Washington Commanders are on the clock. Is the pick in yet or what? Who is selected? We'll talk more about the Deebo Samuel thing in a second. Ja'Lynn Polk. I mean, that's not bad, Travis. Travis, call in real quick on this pick. He's interesting. I mean, Adonai Mitchell dropping. Oh no, that was Washington, right? No, the Patriots. The Patriots selected Polk. So now the Titans are on the clock. I'm behind. I'm way behind. Who did the Commanders take? Call in, Travis. I'm a little behind because I'm trying to rant and rave on this stuff, but the Titans, I believe, are on the clock. But we have we got Polk. Okay, so Patriots get Polk. That's a fantastic move. You need a wide receiver. That's good. I don't mind Polk at all. Commanders took Newton, right? The defensive tackle. I think I'm caught up now. Franklin's good too. DT Newton. Okay, so I think I'm caught up, right? Is that correct, everybody? Let me pull up the NFL draft tracker as well. That's all I need to do, really. Here I am just wasting away at my... Okay, so we got Newton, and then the Patriots. We have an announcement that Polk was drafted. Is that true? I think it was. I do see Polk as the selection. New England Patriots loved Ja'Lynn Polk. Now they get a big-time target for Drake May. 1,100 yards and 8 TDs last season. I like it. It's not a bad move. It's not a bad move. Is Franklin better? You could argue. Is Adonai Mitchell better? You could argue. But Polk's pretty good. The only thing about New England is I feel like they should have made a little bit bigger splash, but I don't mind it, you know? And I think if anybody can kind of break out from that tier, like he's as good as anybody. Polk, I do like him. It's interesting move. But yeah, Newton goes to the Commanders. Polk goes to the Patriots. On the clock, I believe, is the Tennessee Titans. And again, Travis, if you're out there, dial in and we'll discuss. But I'm sure you're probably pretty happy with that. I think you're just happy to get a receiver, period. Is that Polk news official? It looks like it. New England Patriots love Ja'Lynn Polk throughout the process. Okay. Polk should have gone A.D. Mitchell. A.D. Mitchell is going to be a steal. Where's A.D. Mitchell go? What if A.D. Mitchell goes to the Washington Commanders down at the 8 pick? Corley's still out there for sure. Well, Cardinals could get Corley. Colts could get Corley. Indianapolis Colts could get Malachi Corley. Yak yardage monster next Deebo Samuel, Malachi Corley, A.D. Mitchell. There's a lot of opportunity here for the Colts to still land a good receiver. The Bengals at the 17 pick they have a shot. Cardinals could. Green Bay at 9 could get A.D. Mitchell. Remember we talked about Green Bay taking A.D. Mitchell in the first round? What if they get him at the 9 pick in the second round? Yeah, I don't hate the pull kick. I'm sorry I haven't got to the super chats yet. Here's Rock Out. Rock Out says, Smitty, best in the business. Thank you, Rock Out. Appreciate you. You are the man, the myth, the legend, my guy. Again, Travis, if you're out there, I want you to call in about this New England Patriot thing. Phone line's open for anybody that wants to talk about any of these picks so far. 385 in the building, about 300 plus in YouTube. Please hit the thumb up button. Bang, bang. Smitty Gang says, problem bless. Appreciate you being here, pal. Thank you for dropping that $2 holler. We got another super chat from John. Slow it down. You're ahead of everything, says John. Okay, you know what? I'll try and go with the flow of the ESPN draft. I'll try not to beat the pick for you if that's the way everybody prefers. It was hard to do that on day one because the tweets and all the breaking news happens. It is what it is, but we can try and slow it down. There's no rush here during this draft. It's not like we're Benson to the Cardinals. We'll see. I think Polk is pretty solid. I think Polk's pretty solid. Would I've rather got one of the other bigger name wide receivers? Yeah. I have a feeling that if Travis does call in, he'll be a little bit torn. I don't think he's going to be like, I love this pick. This is fantastic. I think it's going to be a little bit, I don't know, a little bit mixed. Does anybody want me to keep going as it happens live? Vote in the chat. Would you rather me announce them as they're truly coming in live, or do you want to wait for the ESPN feed to catch up? You guys let me know what everybody wants. Please vote in the chat, and I'll do whatever you guys say. Yo, Smitty, I won that hoodie yesterday and sent you the wrong zip code. Check your DM. Okay, good. I haven't sent it to them yet, so we should be good. Cold one. Thank you. So we are mad that Smitty is giving us picks before other people watching. Easy Pickens wants to know. I don't know if you're suggesting that I continue on the same track. Travis is probably having, what does Sick Nasty say? Travis is probably having, what did he say? Where is that? I lost it. Smitty doing the show, brother. Do your show, brother. Thank you, Pickens. Appreciate you. You do you, Smitty. Live. Okay, so John, you got overruled. We're doing it live. So on that case, Sweat, Tavondre Sweat goes to the Titans. So you're overruled, John. No one cares. DeAndre Swift goes to the Titans. So now we're caught up, I believe, with what's actually reality. So and Sweat is a defensive tackle, right? Yeah, he's a big boy. D tackle, Sweat. Pickens says, take a lap, John. I ain't mad at you. Live is better. Thank you, Fred. I thought it was. Tyler, you're live. What's up?
Hey, Smitty, thanks for all you do again. Thanks for being the first one up and the last one out. I just have a draft that starts in 2 hours. and I have the first 4 picks. Would you stay far away from Neighbors because he landed in probably the worst spot with Daniel Jones?
In a dynasty, I'm not too worried, bro. I'm not staying away from Neighbors. I think in a dynasty, you're probably...
So you think he's gonna break the mold?
Is it super flex, bro?
Yeah, super flex. I'm gonna pick Marvin, of course, JD5, Dunze, and I don't know who's gonna be my 4th.
Marvin, JD5, Dunze. Who's your other quarterback?
I have Hurts.
Okay.
And
you're good. You're good. Oh God, girl, you don't, bro. I just go all 3 of the receivers. I truly believe at the end of the day, Dunze and Neighbors are so good that I'm not messing around. I'm not taking like Worthy's interesting, but I'm not taking Worthy over those guys in Dynasty. And redraft, it's different. Bowers is not in the most ideal spot now. I think it does turn really, really, really good, but I'm still not. I'm taking the only thing you might consider, because you have time, right, is a running back landing spot here in the second round, or something could change. Like if Dallas takes Braylon Allen, then there's intrigue there. But I think I'll probably take the 3 wide receivers still, bro. Neighbors is better than Neighbors is maybe a better. I don't know. Dunze's landing spot long term should be okay.
The Neighbors is better than Worthy. You think that he could break the New York Giants curse?
Well, he could definitely do a lot better in New York than we think. The touchdowns might not be there, but at the end of the day, bro, you can't assume that they won't fix the quarterback situation for a decade. So like I take the 3 wide receivers and JD5. I smash. You're fine with that.
Okay, thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, bro, appreciate you. George from the Bay, you're live. Chris, Leggett, good call on that. Haters gonna hate. Leggett's great, bro. Don't think I don't like Leggett. I love Leggett. What's up, my guy George from the Bay?
Oh man, I missed the stream last night, but I caught this one, so I'm calling in to see what you think about the Ricky Purcell pick by the Niners.
I think you guys shitted the bed. I love Ricky Purcell. I've promoted that like crazy on this channel. He's one of my favorite dark horse sleeper wide receivers. I'll be honest with you, I kind of like him in Buffalo over Keon Coleman slightly. So I'm being real and totally honest and genuine with you. But you didn't need a wide receiver. You've got Ronnie Bell, who I believe is super undervalued, bro. Like, I love Ronnie Bell, and this essentially neutralizes him. You'll never know what he is. He had 6 receptions, I believe, last year, and had 3 touchdowns. Or was it 9? He had under 10 receptions, and he had 3 touchdowns. Like, he's an ultra-efficient, like, playmaker. And I sense it right away. Just by watching the little bits and pieces that I watch, I'm telling you, that's a gem. Adam Peters is gone. And you guys are showing now how you draft without Adam Peters, unfortunately. It's out of place. It's not. I believe you made this move in anticipation that you were going to trade Deebo or Aiyuk during the evening and early morning or afternoon today. That didn't happen. I think there's still a potential, a potential situation where you could still move Deebo for like future picks. There's still a lot of picks in the second round. It could be something creative that we're not thinking about. It could involve a player. It could be a future pick. It could shock the world. You trade Deebo Samuel, this team's going to fall apart, so I hope you don't, for your sake. I love Parasol, bro. I love him. But, like, he is literally your... Is he going to even be your 3rd wide receiver at all this year? Is he more of a punt returner? They mentioned bringing him in for, like, special teams. And I like him a lot, but this was not the pick you needed, in my opinion. And I think that the Niners have dropped the ball the entire way this offseason. And this is just more unacceptable, like, decision-making. And without Adam Peters, that's how you got Brock Purdy. That's how you got George Kittle. That's how you get player after player after player because he's such a good scout. I give the Niners an F- so far. Up to this pick.
Woo. Man, that is brutal. That is so rough hearing that. Oh
yeah.
my God.
I mean, bro, you Let me, George, can you answer this question? Because a Niner fan, nobody can give me a straight answer. Nobody. What benefit is there to not sign Brandon Aiyuk right when Ridley's making his deal, when $50 million guaranteed was the going rate for a number one wide receiver on a team that maybe was questionably the number one, like Deebo and Aiyuk are in that situation. Ridley was his market. He was going to get 50 to 55 million guaranteed, 24, maybe 24.5, 25 if you wanted to reset the mid-range wide receiver market. And the Niners sat on their hands. Now Aiyuk's going to cost you 29 million a year minimum if you're going to sign him, and 65.
Remember when I was saying he was going to get 28 a year?
But now you might not sign him at that because the Niners don't want to give him that. And if you do end up giving him that, you get even a worse grade from me. Like people are going to say, hey, if the Niners end up giving him 28, you're wrong. They did end up signing him. I'm not saying they don't like plug their nose and get it done. But what advantage was there, bro, to what you just did? What advantage was there to wait? You only cost yourselves a ton of money and created so much animosity between Aiyuk right now in the organization. I don't know if you saw my Instagram video I put up where Aiyuk jumped on JD5's live stream to congratulate him on being drafted to the Commanders. These are boys, ASU alums, or ASU, JD5 left ASU, transferred, but they're ASU boys, right? Rashad White, Ricky Parasol, ASU boy. These are all very, very connected. That's why Aiyuk tweeted out, not going to lie, fire pick. It's not because he loves the pick that the Niners drafted a wide receiver. It's because that's his boy. Okay, so he's going to say that. But Aiyuk jumped on a live stream with JD5. And in the middle of the first 2 minutes, he goes, get somebody else on here, bro. And he just left the live stream. Aiyuk is pissed. He feels disrespected. The fan base is going at him. The fan base is now going at Deebo Samuel again. Well, trade Deebo, not Aiyuk. Your fan base is in shambles right now. And they act like they're not. And it's because of Shanahan. And you know what? I don't blame your fan base. I love my Niner followers. And you always have a home here. I'm really defending you guys. You guys don't deserve to go through a quarterback controversy every single offseason. Yeah, that might be solved now. We hope, right? You don't deserve to go through the wide receiver musical chairs contract situation every offseason, or the Jimmy G situation, or the mishandling of offseason contracts and creating Bosa to have a bad year. Deebo had a bad year. Those are on Kyle, not on the player. Those are on Kyle. And if Aiyuk has a bad year because you don't sign him till July, then it's on Kyle again, not on Aiyuk. It's on Kyle. This should have been done. You haven't given me an explanation as to what the benefit is to wait. You're only going to pay through the roof. His value is going up astronomically every single contract, and the Eagles played you guys like a fiddle. That was 5D chess when they dropped that AJ Brown contract on you guys right when the draft started, because now guess who was unmovable because of the new market value that just got reset right when the draft happened. This is like knocking over your king, bro, right in the middle of the beginning of a chess game. They upped the guaranteed money. Not that Aiyuk can touch AJ Brown's guaranteed money, but they upped the guaranteed money across the board for the game. So that's why Aiyuk's not getting signed anytime soon, because guess what Aiyuk wants now? 60, 65 mil guaranteed. He'll probably ask for the same deal. They're not going to give it to him, but that's going to be his new target. AJ Brown's money is now, he's not JJ. He's not CeeDee Lamb. He's not Jamar Chase. AJ Brown's not those guys. Now, maybe Aiyuk is as far away from AJ Brown as AJ Brown is from CeeDee Lamb and Chase and JJ, but do you think Aiyuk believes he's not in the AJ Brown tier that's below the top 3 or 4? I can guarantee you that his mindset for a while, at least, his agent and him are going to be, this is where Aiyuk lives. And you may disagree. I disagree. But that's not going to be the way they approach it. And that's why when this news was announced, this absolute chess move by the Eagles, it 100% made Aiyuk untradeable. Because how are you going to get him to ink a deal in the middle of a draft when they're trying to make sense of what his new value could be? It was a 5D chess move. The Eagles are dominating the offseason. And I went into Raj's live last night on Instagram. That they're so delusional. They think the Eagles are going to fold. They're a garbage team this year. They have no idea what's coming. Bringing Barkley, they're like, Barkley's nothing. Bringing Kellen Moore to fix the offense. Oh, Kellen Moore's nothing. The Eagles are playing 5D chess, and no one sees it coming. I appreciate you, George, and I'm not trying to rip on the Niners as a whole. It's my beef is always with Kyle and John. And I've been right almost every step of the way. And I don't need a cookie or a pat on the back. And I go into Roger's live stream. No one gives me credit for calling the Jimmy G situation the way it was. No one gives me credit for calling the Deebo situation the way I called it that year, saying he'll request a trade. And everybody said, see, he didn't get traded. When did I say he'd get traded? I said he'd request a trade, and Deebo did. Requesting a trade is different than getting traded. In the whole Aiyuk situation, you can say he didn't request a trade, but news broke and everyone reported on it that he requested a trade. Who the hell knows how that leaked to try and get something going? I still think that there's something to that, but I don't know, George. George, let me catch up on these picks real quick, and then I'll come. Just mute yourself real quick if you don't mind. Just real quick, bro. Let me just get caught up on these picks real fast. We have Sweat went at number 38, right? And then we had Fisk go to the Rams. How did the Rams get the... What did the Rams do? What did the Rams do? Does anybody know what that trade was for the Rams? Let me see. I don't know. I'll have to change it as I go because I don't have the exact trade in front of me. I've been ranting and raving on different things. So after the Sweat pick, it was Fisk. So Fisk went right here. He's a DT, defensive tackle. This is why maybe the Cardinals shouldn't have traded down because it looks like a defensive run is going. We have 4 defensive tackles that have been drafted in the last 5 draft selections. So defense is definitely getting swept off the board as fast as they weren't getting taken earlier. So we'll get Fisk on here. The Commanders are the Eagles. Oh my God! Cooper DeJean goes to the Eagles? Oh my God, that's exactly who the Niners wanted. You guys should have taken... Oh my God! 5D chess just turned into 6D chess. Live on the phone with you, George from the Bay. You just got worked over again by the Philadelphia Eagles. They are working you guys into the ground. Oh my God, that's the night when your beat writer Mike Silver or whatever the hell his name is reported that DeJean was drafted. Cooper DeJean was drafted by the Niners. The Niner fan base erupted. They erupted. They were like, "This is the best pick," and then Silver got it wrong, and it was Ricky Parasol. And then everyone goes, "Parasol? Why did we take a wide receiver?" And the Eagles just smashed. Holy crap, bro. Trading up was... George, do you have any answer for this? Do you have anything you want to say for yourself?
Yeah, if Cooper DeJean was their guy, they would have taken him.
I don't know about that. Oh, my God. Why do you say that?
Well, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. The Niners were picking at 63 next, and they realized that the guy that they want is a receiver. And, looking at this guy's draft profile, Purcell, he's very athletic,
of course
very versatile.
He
had one of the most craziest, most athletic catches in college last year.
Of course he did.
One-hand catch, caught it, and then got drilled.
Of course he did.
He's a stud. He's very, very strong. He likes to take hits. He likes the action. He's a yak. He fits the mold of what the Niners like to do. So this pick right here for Ricky Purcell is a 49er pick. This is to complement Deebo, to complement Aiyuk. I don't think, what a lot of people are reacting on is like, they think that all 3 of them can't excel in the offense together. But, I mean, if you look at the draft profile for wide receivers under Kyle Shanahan, rookie receivers don't play very often.
I know.
They have to earn it.
I know. So that's
Right?
bro. That's the problem.
He has to earn it. He's gonna earn his playing time through special teams because he has 0 muff punts, and that was one of the biggest issues for the 49ers last year was punt return. So if we can put Purcell back there to catch punts and not muff and get some good highlights and returns and do that, that's an awesome fit. And then for him to work into the offense behind Ja'Lynn Jennings as the 4th receiver, 5th receiver, and then eventually step into that 3. I mean, it's gonna be a great,
I
great
can't
offense. I mean,
finish him.
On you, but I did hit the hang up button. You're no offense, George, but you're just yapping. You're Niner yapping right now. You just said 4th or 5th wide receiver option. You spent your 1st round pick, George. I'm not saying I don't like him. You're almost putting words in my mouth in a way, or not words in my mouth, but you're almost ignoring, I guess, the words coming out of my mouth saying that I love Ricky Parasol. I love him, but you just spent a 1st rounder coming out of your mouth. You just said maybe compete with the 4th wide receiver, 4th, 5th wide receiver spot. You used your 1st round.
Aiyuk play much in his rookie year? Aiyuk did not.
Yes,
play much
he
in his
did.
rookie year.
Yes, he did. Aiyuk did. He did play. He didn't play much his 2nd year. He got doghouse his 2nd year. He did good in his rookie year. He looked a lot like Deebo. His rookie year, they did use him. Aiyuk was used. But bro, you're off your rocker if you think this is where you draft Ricky Parasol. Parasol had a 2nd round grade, and so you're right. Everything you're saying about Parasol, you're right. But you have a team that is not using him, and you just admitted rookies don't get used a lot if you're wide receiver, and he's going to compete for the 4th. You just put Ja'Lynn Jennings in the conversation. He better crush Jennings into a million pieces if this pick's going to work out for you. You passed on DeJean, which your entire fan base wanted, and the Eagles have sharded all over the Niners this entire offseason and this draft, especially this draft, to do what they did with this A.J. Brown move, neutralizing any sort of trade value that Aiyuk had right in the middle of the draft. And then to come into the 2nd round, after you bring in Barkley, you make moves. You just make a move after move. This team is unbelievably set up well, the Eagles. And they get the guy that the Niner fan base was ecstatic about getting. And you draft him in the 8th spot, 40 overall. This is the best pick the Eagles. This is probably the best pick in the 2nd round yet. And it's from the Eagles. The Eagles are playing now 60 chess. And you guys are barely playing checkers so far. You have one of the best teams in the league, George. You do. You really do. You have one of the worst coaches in the NFL. You have one of the best offensive coordinators in the NFL playing head coach. Shanahan is one of the best, if not the best, offensive coordinators in the National Football League. But he's pretend playing head coach. He makes mistake after mistake after mistake, and everybody just assumes because he gets the he gets the NFC Championship games and a Super Bowl appearance that he's amazing. But what he's doing is his offensive coordinating is so damn good. That's what happens. This team is unbelievable. Partly built by Adam Peters, who's now in Washington. But how much more evidence do you need? Time and time and time again that this guy takes his foot off the gas. He loses the big game. He get his team absolutely folded in 3 straight games, getting absolutely pile drive by the Eagles this offseason, and just screwed up your 1st round pick. And I know you want to defend it because the player's good, and you're not going to hear an argument from me that Ricky Parasol, I wanted him in Buffalo over Coleman. I love Parasol. But Parasol, you just said out of your own mouth that he's competing for the wide receiver 4/5 spot, and you reached for him when he was a 2nd round grade. You could have traded up. The Niners are very good at trading up. You could have traded your 3rd rounder up to try and get Parasol in round 2 and taken DeJean, and you would have had a B+ to an A- draft. Now you have an F- draft right now. F- draft, F- offseason. There's just no way to argue it. There's no way to argue it. Absolute shard of the bed. The Deebo Samuel, Aiyuk situation right now absolutely got pile drive by the Eagles. And that whole animosity thing is going to create so much divide between Aiyuk and his mental state right now. Deebo was not mentally or physically prepared for his holdout year after he signed his contract under the lengthy process, and he admitted over and over and over. He admitted over and over and over that it was the put it behind him. Okay, I'm never gonna put that film on that kind of play on film again. And we put it behind us. He was pissed off at Shanahan and the organization for putting him in that position. Unbelievable. And C-Mac, I know you're blind as can be, and I appreciate you. You know that, but you are so blind. You hear me say it over and over. You have one of the best teams in the National Football League, partly due to Adam Peters is no longer there. You've heard me say that. You can try and twist my words too if you want, C-Mac. You know I love you. I'm not mad at you, but you're just blind, so I'm trying to walk you through this. But I say over and over and over and over and over, you have one of the best teams in the National Football League. You should have some championships. You should have multiple championships by now. You don't, because you have a glorified offensive coordinator pretending to play head coach, and he's botching so much of your offseason every time. You have one of the best teams in the National Football League, if not the best, maybe top to bottom, talent-wise, in the NFC, or now tied with the Eagles because of this absolute pile-driving DeJean pick that they just stole from underneath you. But you've had an F- draft so far, and you have an F- offseason. If I could give you a lower score, incomplete, I would give you an I for incomplete if that actually works better for you. And you can't argue this. There's no argument to be made because your team is sharding the bed hardcore all over the place the entirety of the offseason. It's hilarious. We have let's see, Kool-Aid went to the Saints at 41. That's a good pick there. Kool-Aid goes to the Saints at pick 31. Cornerbacks are flying off the board now. We got 3 straight cornerbacks going. The Cardinals, in my opinion, being completely honest, shouldn't have traded down. The Cardinals, who have an A+ draft going into the second round, might have just went down to an A- or even a B- by moving down and missing. We'll see what they do, but missing some of these defensive players that were freaking available and sitting there for the taking. And Monty Ossenfort, who's got a itchy trigger finger for trading, may have just passed on 3 straight corners, and I don't like that at all. It looks like Georgia got the Kamari kid. God, the Cardinals better not screw this pick up. I'll give them a fair B-, or I'll give them a much lower score for the second round. They still might walk away with an A because of just having Marvin Harrison Jr. at all gives you an A. This guy right here is a cornerback. Was it Kamari? It was Kamari, right? Okay, so Cardinals are on the clock. What if the Cardinals take Adonai Mitchell here? On clock, Cardinals. I'm sorry, I got George from the base still on the phone, and then Scuba. George, you wanna rebuttal any of this that I'm yelling at C-Mac about and yelling at you about? You're very quiet. You're very polite. You know I love you, George. George, you're actually, and I don't mean this in a negative way to anybody else watching, but George is one of my favorite callers. I do love George. I do love him to death. I love that we can actually talk like this to each other, and it doesn't bother me. Like, I love George. George, speak your mind.
Look, I agree with a lot that you say, and look, I love your personality. I love your attitude. You know, the aggression is a little much towards us Niner fans. You're a little hard on us, and I believe that's because you're a Cardinals fan. But I'm going to let that go because, like I said, this kid, it might be a reach, okay? But this kid has the opportunity to learn from 2 of the best receivers in the league. This offense is going to be so potent this year. And he's going to start at the 4 or 5 spot. Who knows? At midseason, maybe he's the 3. And this kid can play outside, inside. He can return punts, like I said. I'm not arguing that this pick is a reach. Okay, because it is a reach in my opinion, but is it a good spot for him to land? I agree, it is. I think it is because this offense is going to be deadly. You got Christian McCaffrey, you got George Kittle, you got Deebo, Aiyuk, now you throw Purcell in there. It's like, who's going to be able to stop all these weapons? And that's what Kyle wants. He wants to build the most dynamic offense, and I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, well, the problem I'd say, bro, and I'm trying to catch up on this. Let's see. I don't know why I put the Raiders there. So Raiders, and then next up is who? Raiders, Green Bay, Colts. Raiders, Green Bay. Okay, so Green Bay needs to be added here. Okay, so let's get on the same page here real quickly. You and I both love Ricky Parasol. Okay, he's one of my favorite deep wide receiver. Like, I want to throw anybody under the bus, but let's just say that I don't think it was well received by some of my Niner friends when it first happened. So C-Mac, and I very, very much think, everybody deserves time to digest something. So I don't think there's anything wrong with liking him after the fact or anything like that. But this is not a well-received pick by the entire Niner fan base. And everybody had to go to sleep on it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you need to do that. Sometimes, even with the Kenneth Walker situation, it was one of those things where, we said, okay, maybe this is a blessing in disguise. So there's nothing wrong with that. But the one thing we agree on is we love Ricky Parasol. I love him. I absolutely love him. But it wasn't the right pick at the right time. You could have traded up and got him. There's a chance he's still on the board right now if he wasn't drafted by the Niners. There's a chance he could have gone, but he was a more of a sleeper, second round grade, and you should have taken DeJean and tried to trade up and got aggressive to get him. There's no excuse, in my opinion, to be literally 45 picks into the draft and you have a wide receiver only. It doesn't make any sense when you don't even need it. Like, you've got Jennings as your 3. You've got Ronnie Brown as your 3. Danny Gray you've never used, and he's super good. Danny Gray's super good. You're loaded at wide receiver. Like, you're not wrong that Parasol's amazing, but you don't need a fourth or trying to become your third wide receiver. You guys love Jennings so much. He's such a dog to your entire community. Why would you waste your time going in the route of a wide receiver? You can't even take care of the wide receivers you got on your team. Like, pay attention and pay Deebo or Aiyuk instead of drafting another wide receiver. You're essentially sharding all over Deebo or Aiyuk, one of the two, and telling them we were drafting your replacement. I understand what you're saying, and am I a little hard on I'm not hard on the Niners. I'm hard on Shanahan and John. I very much, Deebo's been on my Moon Man list for like 2 years in a row. I love Kittle. I love Kittle's personality. I love Brandon Aiyuk. I literally, like I said, went into Raj's live stream when you guys were trying to cook up wide receiver prospects, and I said, you need to draft Brandon Aiyuk. So I love the Niner community. I love my Niner fans. I love, George from the Bay is amazing. But I'm hard on Shanahan and John Lynch because they get a pass every time. George, I believe you don't believe this to be true, but it is true. If Brock Purdy was not landed, and I think in strong part by Adam Peters, because he handled a majority of the late draft selections, very widely known. And when he was at the Combine or the Super Bowl, he was asked on a podium a question about quarterback. What do you need to do, with the Washington Commanders? He goes, well, I need to go out and find my Brock Purdy. So it was like he made a statement in keeping a big amount of ownership of the Brock Purdy finding. I very much believe he did have a big part in that, if not a majority of it. If Brock Purdy was not found, Kyle Shanahan would be fired. He would not be the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers. And if anybody watching doesn't believe that to be true because you feel differently after watching last year, you're not separating the Brock Purdy from this situation. If you guys didn't have Brock Purdy, maybe Trey would have worked out, and Shanahan would have been saved, but he was ruining Trey from the beginning. I don't think Trey Lance busted. I think Shanahan busted on Trey Lance. And you'd see hatred for Shanahan just sparking like wildfire amongst the community. Everyone loves him because Brock Purdy was found. His job was saved by Brock Purdy. I mean, I don't know if it's funny.
I don't know if for sure that statement is true that Brock Purdy was the pick by Adam Peters. Like, yeah, he probably had a part in discovering him. But how do we know that Trey Lance was Kyle's guy? I was under the
because he's the head coach. Jonathan Brooks, hold on. Texas running back Jonathan Brooks is the first back off the board to the Panthers. Oh my God. That is a fantastic move. It's confusing though. It's a good move. We haven't even talked about that landing spot. Panthers are at what draft selection? I'm so behind on this. They're number 46 overall.
He can come right in and start right away from day one.
Woo! Well, no, not necessarily because he's recovering from the ACL tear, but in theory, yes. He's this is a good move. Where's Reebok or Chris from Vegas? Because his team is actually the Carolina Panthers. That is a fantastic move. I'm a little bit behind. It went Melton, number 44. God, who's 40? 44 went Johnson. Hold on a second. I'm so behind on this. So it went Melton, and then it went. Damn it! Who went? So Powers Johnson went the center. Come on, man. That would have been a good move for the Eagles too, if they got Powers Johnson. They still could get another center though. But Johnson, center from Oregon, goes number 44 to the Raiders. God, Jonathan Brooks. We got to talk about this Brooks thing. Okay, so center.
I mean, the way Miles Sanders performed last year, there's no competition in Carolina.
No, it's a fantastic move. And then Cooper, Edgerrin Cooper is a linebacker. He went to the Packers. So hold on one second, guys. Cooper, linebacker, went to the Packers. Give me 1 second. I'm almost caught up. Linebacker, Cooper, and then Jonathan Brooks. Doggy. Wow. Carolina Panthers select the first running back off the board, and he's the best one of the group by far. He just tore his ACL. And so I like this pick. It's definitely a move. I'm hoping that Chris from Vegas calls in to talk about this because that's his Carolina Panthers. And
Jonathan Brooks looks like someone that you could draft late and redraft and
can we
for like the first 5 weeks.
Can we be honest here and say that even though the Carolina Panthers are one of the worst teams in the National Football League, and Bryce Young was pitiful last year, not all of his fault, but he just was. This is just a fact. If you separate the team and what they have, and you put that, is Brooks going to be better than Chuba Hubbard? Of course, Brian. You got Harbaugh's mentality. What do you want? Just a guy? Brian's a big Herbert and Chargers guy, and he's getting infected by Harbaugh. He's like, do we really need Jonathan Brooks? Can't we just get a fullback? Can't we just bring in one of the Ravens' backup running backs? Oh, wait, sorry. Harbaugh is infecting my mind. Of course Jonathan Brooks is better than Chuba Hubbard. He's potentially a top 12 future running back, maybe top 10 in the National Football League. Can we be honest here and say that if we separate the Carolina Panthers, like current situation and what they did last year from the draft, and just say that they're having an A- draft minimum? It is what it is. Carolina's doing some things. And quite frankly, I'm a little excited about maybe we get to see this quarterback evolve quicker than we thought. This is a fantastic draft. You give him Leggett, you give him Brooks, you're giving him offense. I love it. I love what they're doing.
Hey, Smitty, I got to run, but I'll call back in.
All right, George. Appreciate you.
Right.
Let me go to Scuba Steve. I'm going to keep you on a short timer, but not hang up on you. I just need to rotate around the phone line quicker because people are going to have to jump. Go ahead, Scuba, and hit me with your commentary. You're live. Silver to the moon. Scuba!
You're on mute, brah.
You on mute, Scuba? Hello! All right, let me go over to Adam, very blessed indeed, while Scuba tries to find his AirPods that might have fallen between the seats in the console of his car. Go ahead, Adam, very blessed indeed. You're live.
Hey, Smitty. How you doing? My prediction was correct. I put earlier that I thought the Panthers would be the first one to take a running back, so that was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, attaboy.
I think they were smart to jump right in front of the Giants because I think they're probably going to be the second one to get one. I'm thinking
it could trigger a running back run here if they didn't already do it. Let me refresh real quick. Jaguars selecting Mason Smith. Chris from Vegas is dialing in. Travis, I saw you call and then it hung up. All right, what else you got, Adam? Very blessed indeed. I'm not going to hang up on you, but I'm going to cycle around the phone line quickly. What's up? What else you got?
My bad. I think that was him before because that was definitely not.
Was it Adam from Denver that broke in and started talking?
That's me right now, but the guy before, I don't know who that was.
That was Adam, very blessed indeed, is his name.
Oh,
you got two Adams. Yeah, you got two Spider-Mans on the phone. We're getting this show's getting so big. When we have an open phone line, we're gonna have multiple people with the same name. That's just the way it is moving forward. All right. So be very astute and focused when you hear your name. If your name is not Adam, very blessed indeed, and you're Adam from Denver, or you're Adam from Denver and you're not Adam, very blessed indeed, just pay attention to the entirety of the name. Adam, very blessed indeed. Yep. Hang tight for me. Let me go over to Adam from Denver since he's on the line ready to roll. What's up, Adam from Denver? Talk to me.
Hey, just appreciate all the information you're dropping tonight. I was really upset about the Polk going to New England. Was kind of upset about that one. Why?
Because you wanted him, or you're a New England fan and you wanted a different receiver? Travis, call in.
Nah, this is the delusional Broncos fan here. So I was just wondering if you think there's any chance that Denver has a way to make it into the second round.
Who to make it to this? To what? Who?
Denver to trade into the second round since we don't have a second round.
No, it's not delusional. Any team could trade into the second round, bro. Any team, very, very, very capable.
Because I see a lot of these are like trade ups. What do you think it would take for them to, like a third and a fifth, to get into the second?
Some of these moves are so weird. Like they're moving 150 to 79, and I don't know. I don't know what the cost would be. Sometimes it's hard to know, but certainly possible. I don't think it's crazy. Hold on real quickly. Thanks for doing the live. You bet, Kerry. I'm here for you. I work for you, pal. You're the man, the myth, the legend. DT Jenkins goes to the Bengals. I'm a little bit behind on this draft log, guys. I'll get to it. Don't worry. I'll get to it. Thanks for the super chat, Kerry. Appreciate you. JB with a super says Dynasty draft rank the top 5 to 6 wide receivers. Dynasty draft rank from a full Dynasty perspective. MHJ might be my number one now. I'm going to have a video on that tonight. I got it right here. Make sure this is on the main channel though. We'll go on the Dynasty channel as well. Probably do a similar video from the Dynasty perspective, which if he's number one in redraft for 2025, you can bet that he's number one in Dynasty right now, potentially. Like if I'm making trades, look, he's better than JJ to me. JJ's got JJ McCarthy. I don't love JJ McCarthy. I don't hate him, but you got JJ cemented into that Minnesota situation now, especially with the draft gone. I have MHJ as my number one wide receiver. You get past that, you start talking about probably still JJ and Jamar Chase and Lamb, and I don't know, bro. Let's tackle it on the stream tonight with the Marvin Harrison stream, and then on the Dynasty stream as well. But it's a very good question. But to give you just a little bit of a lead on that, it's going to be MHJ number one in 2025. Like if I'm talking about this year, he can't be number one this year, but he's going to be so good. Sup, Smitty, who's having the best draft? Go Birds. Look, Cardinals are having a damn good draft. Melton's pretty good. To be honest with you, I'm not as versed on some of these corners as we got past Kool-Aid, and I'm not like exactly sure if Melton's better than some of the other guys that are on the board. I do know about up to Kool-Aid. I know DeJean was freaking the top. Like that was what the Niners should have been doing, and they're probably crying about it right now. That was the move to make. I wish the Cardinals wouldn't have traded down. If I had to give the Cardinals an A+ coming out of day one, they're probably the best draft because they got the best player. But in round 2, I'm going to give the Cardinals a B- at least, maybe lower, for trading out. I just got to see what they do with the other pick that they got, but trading out of getting DeJean. Like, I would have just taken DeJean, then the Cardinals would have had an A+, maybe 110% out of 100, like extra credit. You know, when you'd have more than 100% score, like that's what the Cardinals could have did. So I'm being real and being honest with it. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate everybody dropping supers. Thank you, Rock Out. Thank you to Problem Bless. Thank you, John. Thank you, Kerry. Thank you, JB. Thank you, Romez. Let's go over to Travis Rowe real quick. Scuba, hang tight. You were on mute, I think, but stay there. I'll come back to you. Adam, blessed indeed. Thank you. Or he hung up. Adam from Denver, hang tight. Chris from Vegas, you're after Travis. Travis, are you liking this Polk move or not?
I like it. I heard you saying you thought I'd be kind of split. My only question mark is why not AD Mitchell, but it seems like the league as a whole is down on him. So I don't know if there's something we don't know or what.
Well,
but, after that group, I mean, I like Ladd too, but I think the Patriots also kind of back themselves into a corner with so many slot type guys, and I know McConkey can go all over the field, but they needed a bigger guy who could get the ball down the field, and Polk can do that. So I'm happy with it. You know?
Yeah, I truly believe that. Look, these defensive tackles are flying off. Jenkins Jr. goes to the Bengals. That's an interesting move. Bengals shoring up the D a little bit, and who's on the clock right now? So this is the Panthers. Jenkins Jr. I'm just gonna put Jenkins, and then the Eagles are at pick 50, right? No, the Bengals or the Commanders took that 18 spot or that 50 overall pick, right? You know what I'm going to do?
Yeah, the Commanders have the 50th overall.
I'm going to try and... Let me see if I can do this. I'm going to start doing screenshots from NFL.com. I don't think it makes sense to be manually doing this, to be honest with you. It was fun at first, but I'm going to go ahead and... I'm going to screenshot this. So down to pick 43. Let me delete all this. Hang tight, guys. Sorry. Let me delete all this. Chris Jenkins. That's a good pick. You know, I got to say, like, I feel like there's some teams that are missing the boat in the second round. The DeJean pick by the Eagles was freaking unbelievable. 6D chess. They continue to dominate. The Eagles are absolutely just smashing everyone to a million pieces right now. I'm sorry, and if my Niner fans are upset over me saying that, I know that's not what you want to hear, but the Eagles are absolutely playing 6D chess on everybody, and it's so funny because
what I don't get.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, if I was a Niners fan, I'd be pissed. I wouldn't be trying to make excuses.
Yeah, I don't understand why they just support their team, which is it's loyal and it's respectable. I get it, but Niner fans were irate about Ricky Parasol getting drafted, and now it's like, it's fine, it's good. This is a lot better. I don't know what I'm doing with the manual. I don't know. This is better. I'm just gonna. It might be a little delayed. I can announce them verbally, but then I'll put them on the screen after they get updated. But this is the draft. This is much cleaner. I don't know what in the hell I was thinking. Okay, so we got Keon Coleman going 33 overall to the Buffalo Bills. Ladd McConkey going to the Chargers at 34. We got Orhorhoro going to the Atlanta Falcons at 35. We got Newton at 36. Polk, Sweat. I could put the positions up there too because some people might not know. But we got Jenkins. So Washington's on the clock. The Steelers. The Steelers could take AD Mitchell. The Colts could get him. If the Colts get AD Mitchell at 52 overall.
Yeah.
That's going to be pretty amazing. Now, to your comment, though, Adonai Mitchell definitely has some red flags, and I believe that's why the NFL as a whole is staying away from him because of Rashee Rice in that situation. There is some off-the-field concerns about Adonai Mitchell, no doubt about it, but there is also a whole lot of talent. And that's why a lot of people thought that the Chiefs were going to take him because the Chiefs don't care about that kind of stuff.
He'd be a great fit for Pittsburgh or Indy.
Yeah. All right, Travis, hang tight real quick. I'll come back to you in regards to your team and everything. Let me go over to Chris from Vegas. Chris, let me just start off by saying I've crapped a lot on your Carolina Panthers. I will also say that I really, really liked Bryce Young leading into his rookie year, and I feel like I've definitely, haven't been satisfied with what I've seen. But at the same time, I still like him and I have hope for him. I just don't know how I feel about Carolina, and I've made some harsh comments about Carolina and that I think they're going to have a really, really bad year and be one of the worst teams in the National Football League. But that was pre-draft. Your team has really, really done a very nice job, my friend. I'm going to give, aside from your team and the worries I still have, I'm going to give you guys an A- so far, minimum, for your draft. How are you feeling? I know you loved the Leggett pick. You were screaming about that from the beginning of the draft and on day one, and it ended up happening, and you were super excited. And there are a lot of haters on Leggett for some reason. I don't know why. Oh, he doesn't run routes. He's got to learn how to run routes. A lot of players got to learn to run routes. It's not like, and not to mention, I don't know why people say that about him so much. He runs great routes, in my opinion, and he's a huge body. I love this guy. I love him. And you give this team Jonathan Brooks now, who's immediately one of the best, rookie running backs easily, if not the number one rookie running back, based on the position of need. Chuba's not going to be a threat at all. Like, talk about your team, bro. You've got an A- draft minimum.
So I know a lot of people, kind of look at Leggett and say, oh, he's not going to be good there. But sometimes it's not about the player itself. It's about fit with the team.
Yeah.
I think he's a great fit. Just even his personality, everything about Leggett,
I love his personality.
I wanted him from the start. I think he fits in to what they're trying to build on there. I do like how Dan Morgan and Canales seem to be on the same page, working as a cohesive unit and building the team around Bryce and trying to give him as many weapons as they can with what they've got. Hopefully Tepper kind of keeps staying in the background. That's like a addition by subtraction kind of thing. Just know your role, stay in the back, you're the owner. It's cool. But as far as what they're doing and the culture that they're trying to reinvent, I don't expect them to go to the playoffs. Nothing crazy. This isn't fantasy land. But can they at least go from dog water to at least a bottle of drinking water? Hopefully so. I like the steps that they're taking and trying to build around Bryce. They did beef up the offensive line a bit in the offseason, so I was excited to see that. I just hope they can go from the basement and being the absolute worst team, just take at least a step forward, even if it's a small one, but we'll see.
Yeah, I like this. This draft board is much better, says Flame and Paula. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. I wanted to have the picks on screen, even though I can verbalize them live. This is so much better. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. We could have had so much better board. I don't know what I was doing. That's all right. It's all right. We had some fun. This is much cleaner. Much cleaner. Got full names, got all the positions, got the teams. Got the trades that, it's much better. All right. Hey, Chris, stay on the line. I want to get more of your input, but bro, congratulations. Like, you got to feel as good as I do as a Cardinal fan. This has been one of the best drafts I've ever been a part of, and it's based on one guy. Like, getting Marvin Harrison Jr. has made this the best draft day experience I've ever had and probably ever will, because my Cardinals got the best wide receiver, in my opinion, in the National Football League. Within one calendar year, he'll be that good. I'm in shock that we have the number one player, in my opinion, at an offensive skill position, and quite arguably the number 2 or number 3 tight end in the National Football League in McBride, and a top 5 to 10 quarterback that if you give that quarterback the number 2 tight end and the number 1 wide receiver, you got to wonder how he's not dancing in the top 5 on occasion. You know, like, how do you not? Especially he's a running quarterback. So in fantasy, it's like he's got to stay healthy. You know what I would do if I was the Cardinals? You want to know what I would do? I would take Joe Milton. I would take Joe Milton, or I'd take Rattler. I'd make sure I have some exciting prospect, even if they're a project and a shot in the dark. I don't like this Ritter being the backup at all situation. And I would take a Joe Milton, somebody if Kyler missed 2 or 3 games, you could kind of plug and play in a way because he runs. And so I think, you know, he can almost pull like a Cam Newton in a way, or an AR5 last year during the games we saw AR5 play, where you don't even need to throw for 300 yards, 250 yards, even 200 yards to win a game. You can literally have this guy be kind of a threat, keep defenses honest, and just kind of win 2 out of 3 games if you needed it out of Milton. Just being a dominant physical specimen under center that could, you know, threaten to run the ball at any moment and then dump it off to Marvin Harrison Jr. But God, I'm excited. You got to be excited. I'm excited. I know Travis is probably pretty excited because he got his quarterback finally. He got a wide receiver. There are a lot of teams. Adonai Mitchell going to the Colts. We knew it was happening. We knew it was going to happen. The Colts making big moves. Colts making big moves. I'm not sure if Adonai Mitchell is going to have problems. I don't know. But the fact that the Colts got one of the more touted wide receivers is a fantastic.
They can afford to.
Huh?
They can afford to. They have depth.
Yeah.
You know,
such a move. Such a move
Very
by the
smart.
Colts. You could afford it. You could afford to take the off the field character concerns. Adonai Mitchell to the Colts. And let me also tell Michael Pittman Jr. owners, which I've said that he's probably one of the nightmare, you know, results of this draft, is people expecting him to be like, now he just took a nutsack kick in value. I'm not saying Pittman's not a great number 2. He'll continue to be. This is where he belongs as a number 2 for a team. He'll do really well. But he'll do really well from a number 2 type of, you know, angle. But man, Adonai Mitchell, where's our boy AR5 when we need him?
The Moon Man. He's on a shuttle.
There he is. AR5 to the freaking Mars. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, I've got news to announce.
In space.
We've got 5 Marsmen: McBride, Jacobs, Stroud. Bowers ain't going anywhere. He's not going home. Bowers is not going home. I don't care. He's staying on Mars. He's staying on Mars. I know people want to take him off Mars. He's not going home. He's staying on Mars.
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars Man.
London. The London Bridge did not fall down. He's got his
dropping and spinning aimlessly.
I'm going to do a video on Penix Jr. that's going to be very based on London, Bijan, and Kyle Pitts as well. So that Atlanta Falcon video is coming tonight at some point. Amazing. Penix Jr. to the Falcons is amazing. I don't care what anybody says. People can kick rocks on it. I don't care. And AR5 is now 100% cemented in. I've got new news, though. I've got new news, ladies and gentlemen. I give you an adjustment. I've lied to you all. And I have to apologize. I said there'd only be 8 Saturn men. And I have dispatched a pod to Saturn, adding a secondary a seventh a ninth edition, because we have 8. We have 8 Saturn men. We now have a 9th Saturn man. And I apologize I didn't tell any of you about this emergency pod that I dispatched a few weeks ago. It has landed on Saturn. Saturn has 9 men instead of 8. And it's Caleb Williams. No, I'm just kidding. Your 9th Saturn man. Your 9th Saturn man is none other than Marvin Harrison Jr. Welcome to the Saturn men.
The Saturn men.
One small step for man.
That is a beautiful list.
Giant leap for Saturn.
That is a beautiful list.
Spaceman.
Look at that. Hall, Kyron, JD5, Puka, Bijan, H-Hand. Gibbs.
Spaceman.
Mahomes. We'll see if Mahomes' ADP keeps in the 5th round. If Mahomes climbs to like 4.1 because of Worthy, we might have to move him to the Mars man list and put another. But right now, his 5th round ADP makes him one of the best values in fantasy. Marvin Harrison Jr. in the 2nd round is an absolute steal. Absolute steal in redraft. So there's your update, and we'll have this video on the main channel tonight, and then also a Dynasty channel. This channel is up. The placeholder for this video on the main channel is up and waiting. Let me get these super chats out of the way, then let me circle back on the phone line real quick. I appreciate everybody waiting. I'm a little behind on the draft too. Smitty is dialed in when the shades are off. Not a sexy draft for the Packers, but they're doing what they do. Your thoughts on O-line and linebacker? At this point in the draft, it's very cloudy as to who you would take if you're on the clock at O-line and LB. I guess I would say I have a list here of the top available players, and Frazier went, right? Didn't Frazier get drafted, or did Frazier not get drafted? Cooper got drafted.
Yeah, Frazier got drafted.
Edgerrin got drafted. Cooper got drafted. These were kind of the top O-line. LB was Edgerrin Cooper. Patrick Paul is still out there, O-line, I believe, isn't he? So there's that, I guess you could say. Past that, man, we're getting deep, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting a little bit, I would say, fuzzy on who I believe is going to be the best offensive line at this point. I'm not saying I don't have some names in mind, but like, this wouldn't be my forte this deep in the draft at offensive line. Once we get past like the first like 5, 6, 7 guys, it starts getting cloudy. So it's a great question. Ron Navy dropping a $2 hauler. Appreciate you. Please check PP Smitty. What's PP? What's PP mean? What's PP mean?
PayPal question mark?
PayPal.
Is that PayPal?
I would assume.
PP.
Only thing that comes to my mind.
Please check your PP. Okay, yeah, it might be PayPal. What? What?
Oh, damn.
Ron.
I think Commanders just took Benson off.
I don't know how to digest this. Ron Navy just dropped. Ron Navy just dropped. Ron Navy just dropped the biggest super chat of all time. It's so bright.
Dropping a bomb, Ron.
It's so bright I can't even see. What does it say? Can someone read that? I can't see. Somebody read it. Tyler, call it again. I missed the call, Tyler. I don't even have a button for this, Ron.
Alert. Alert. Panic mode initiated.
Ooh, a big one.
I hit a $50 hauler. I don't know if that's...
Give me $50. Oh, yeah.
I think Ron Navy dropping the biggest wad on screen, and this is gonna be tough to beat. Ron, appreciate you. Yeah. Ron dropping absolute wad.
Way to go, Ron.
On screen. I don't know. I mean, I'd love for someone to beat that, but that's gonna be tough to beat. Jeez. You know, if anything, that deserves maybe its own button. You know, where like somebody does something outrageous, we hit the Ron button or something. I don't know. That deserves something recognizing, you know, that type of shocked situation. Not only that, Ron sends it through PayPal, which, you know, just shows, you know, his understanding of like YouTube takes, and I don't want anybody to stop sending super chats. It's very convenient and everything like that. But when someone sends something that big, like YouTube takes 30% of it. So Ron sends it via PayPal.
The Moon Man.
Whoops.
Dropping
I meant to hit the Saturn. To Saturn. Ron Navy to Saturn. Unbelievable. Maybe that gives Ron like at least a month of a Kirk Cousins emoji or something. You know? Ron, we got someone changing their name to yes, Ron deserves a button. I don't know who that is, but they changed their YouTube name to yes, Ron deserves a button. Ron, fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you, pal. Appreciate you. I didn't know what button to hit, so I hit the panic button.
Alert. Alert.
All right, I'm so let me
no button for that yet.
Yeah, there's got to be like a button. I mean, he has the toilet button we added, but we need to add like a positive button. You know, like the $1,000 like this is so bright. You know, this that's crazy. Ron, fantastic, Ron. I'll put that on screen here from Ron. Put this in the corner. Ron Navy dropping a. Actually, you know what I'll do is I can edit this here and say super chat. I can change this to be 1,000 right here. I can put this on screen. Ron Navy, $1,000 super chat. Can't even compute. Can't even compute, Ron. Can't even compute. Appreciate Ron Navy. Where are we at here?
Commanders took Ben Sinnott.
Okay, let me take a couple screenshots of this. So Jonathan Brooks went. Let me go back to my board, which this is a lot cleaner. So it's the Raiders. The Raiders 44 is what I need to screenshot, right? Raiders 44. Let me put this on screen so we can get caught up. Ben Sinnott, is that how you say his name?
Yep. I think so.
Ben Sinnott. Ben Sinnott just got taken by the Washington Commanders. I believe I'm caught up. This puts 44. Let's see here. No, I messed up on that screenshot. Hold on. Then I'm going to get back to the phone callers. I'm sorry, guys. I know you're itching to get your question answered or just drop your comment. Again, I want to say congrats to everybody that had an amazing draft. This is the most exciting draft I've ever been a part of. I can't tell you like how excited I am. I was searching like MHJ rookie cards last night. Ron, I might need your guidance on that because I'm a little out of date on these rookie card searches. Like there's 10,000 cards now, and even the ones that are worth
I can help you with that.
Okay, both of you can give me your input. Even though like you could grab the best card, like if it's like let's say it's a Prism something. They'll have a version of that Prism, the exact one people are talking about, that's worth like $12, and then the other one, because it's an orange, is worth like $5,000.
I'll take the serial numbers.
And it's like what in the hell? Like how are you supposed to know what to buy? But I want to buy a Marvin Harrison Jr. rookie card, mint 10 of something. Obviously I'm not going to buy the top one probably, but I want to buy something that's in the hundreds that I know is going to become $1,000 card someday. So Ron and anybody else can send me that information. Ron and Travis, you can help me with that. Ben Sinnott got taken by the Washington Commanders. Decent tight end. This is great for JD5 if he ends up being. Yeah, why not? Why not, right? Ertz is older, so that's good. Adonai Mitchell is probably one of the coolest picks in the second round, to be frank. Just feel like that was a strong move. Strong move. Browns are on the clock. Okay. Who do I think was the best pick in this entire second round? I think McConkey was one of them. I think that was a good pick by the Chargers. Doesn't mean the Chargers didn't, in my opinion, draft wrong. I think they did. They still took the one of the best players on the board. I think the best pick in this entire round is Cooper DeJean by the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are playing 7D chess now with AI. Like they have an AI driven 7D chess monster in control right now. I wouldn't be surprised if AI was drafting for the Eagles right now, because this is and controlling the entire offseason, because this is flawless. I don't know what the Eagles are doing wrong, if they're doing anything wrong. I don't think they're doing anything wrong. That's such a and again, I'm not a Niner hater at all. I'm a Shanahan doubter and a John Lynch doubter, but that pick probably burned Niner fans so bad, because that's the pick they thought they got. That's the player they wanted most of all, and the Eagles just ripped it from their kung fu grip. And I wonder if those leaks about that maybe DeJean was going to the Niners. When Silver posted it, the beat writer for the Niners, I think the San Francisco Chronicle or Gazette or something, he broke, and Raj posted it. Everybody posted it. I don't blame Raj or those guys for posting it, because that was a very well-known beat writer. You can't fact-check everything like that. You got to trust them. And he posted it. Silver's a wild guy sometimes. But he posted that DeJean was the pick, and then he retracted it. I think he deleted it. Everybody deletes everything. And then he put at least an amendment or a sorry out. Sorry for going early on that pick. But his theory was that the Niners and teams are leaking information, specifically the Niners, to see who their rat is inside their organization. Because apparently Silver, and this is kind of a wild conspiracy, but Silver's, like I said, a little wild guy. A little wild with his tweets, and I don't know, he ruffles a lot of feathers. People don't seem to always get along with him. But Silver put out after that, when he got that wrong, I don't know, some people are saying he's just trying to save face, but he said that the Niners may have, this assumption based on some rumors, released that to try and see who the rat was. And I'm like, I don't know, bro. I think the higher likelihood is that they tried to change directions when they were settling in on something, and they changed directions to go parasol because they thought maybe they could get a Deebo deal done with the Bills or Patriots with the long-awaited break between round 1 and round 2 last night and today. So we'll see. But I think DeJean was the best pick in this entire second round. Let's see. I got Ron on the line. First of all, Ron, appreciate your $1,000 hauler. That's the most that's ever been dropped on the channel. You'll probably hold that record for quite some time. I think that affords you several $50 bold predictions that we can throw up. You just on a tab. Whenever you want to drop one, just say it, and we'll put it up there. First of all, thank you. Second of all, have your Steelers drafted in the second round yet? No, right?
Frazier. Yeah, they got center Frazier from West Virginia.
Oh, yeah, right there. How do you like that pick?
We needed it. It was a need, and I think we got a steal last night with I wanted a receiver, but it made so much sense that he just fell to us. I mean, he was a top 11 a lot of people's lists, so I think they did really well because he's versatile and he can play right tackle, left tackle. He can even play center for you if you need to. So I'm happy so far.
Yeah, that's it's not a bad move. Were you hoping they were going to stay put, grab a receiver? Like, you could have got BT at a point yesterday. Were you bummed about that, or are you not a big BT believer? Brian Thomas Jr. receiver at LSU.
No, I like BT, but BT's kind of the same type of receiver that Pickens is. He's not the greatest route runner. I mean, he's a lot like Pickens as far as that goes. So I wasn't that disappointed.
What about 80 Mitchell?
A little bit. I was hoping that they'd make that last minute. I was hoping that they would still make a trade for Aiyuk, but that didn't happen. So
yeah, 80 Mitchell, like every team that didn't draft him once we got deep into the second round, you could essentially say may or may not, in reflection, look back and regret it. The Colts were the perfect team to do it. I really, really love that selection. Offensive tackle Patrick Paul going to the Dolphins. Michael Hall Jr., defensive tackle, going to the Cleveland Browns, and then the tight end Ben Sinnott, I believe I'm pronouncing that right, went to the Commanders for JD5. That's a pretty good move. So this is a really, really interesting draft. Ron, we didn't. Go.
What?
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say we didn't.
I'm not gonna say songs. Me and my buddy are out. We're drinking some beers and we're gonna eat. We're waiting on it, but I just wanted to come out. I was listening to the show, so.
Okay. Well, appreciate you, Ron. Appreciate you, Ron. And then last thing I'll say, We didn't get your take on the first round. Let me see if I can find the first round. So the Steelers had pick number 20, right? So pick number 20, you had Fatuanu. Were you happy with that?
Yeah, he's versatile. You can put him at right or left tackle. He can also play center, and he was like on a lot of people 11th player of the whole draft. So to get him at 20, that was a steal.
Yeah, and
that was literally a steal.
And then you let's see here. So you got a center and you got an offensive tackle, and you've got Fields, you've got Pickens, you've got Najee, you got Jaylen Warren. This is going to be interesting, fortifying the offensive line under a Mike Sullivan passing attack, and we'll see what Arthur Smith does with the run.
Still need a receiver, but the Pittsburghers are famous to get those late round receivers.
What'd you say, Travis?
Pittsburgh.
McMillan, maybe.
McMillan.
Corey Franklin, Malachi Corley.
Franklin. God, you could get Franklin.
I like Franklin.
That'd be good. Franklin would be fantastic.
Corley's still out there. He's
God.
Type of receiver, but
God,
Corley for the Patriots bad.
Yeah, Corley to the Steelers, Ron.
I don't think they'll take 2 straight.
If the Steelers got Malachi Corley, who's the next Deebo Samuel, then you get your Deebo Samuel, and then the Steelers would get an A- draft minimum if they pull that off. Because right now, 2 offensive linemen, it's not like the sexiest draft, but it's like really smart drafting, given they've got a lot of offensive pieces already, and you got 2 quarterbacks. So you get an offensive weapon on top of fortifying the offensive line, then you're in business. All right, hey Ron, appreciate you, man. Go have fun with your buddy, and appreciate you, bro.
Take care, Ron.
Yep.
All right, later.
Love you, Smitty.
All right, love you, pal.
All right, later.
All right, I got a lot of you on the phone line.
Go running back here.
Cowboys, maybe. I got a lot of you on the phone line here. Let me circle around as fast as I can. Josh from Cali, then to Brogan, then to Tyler, then back to Chris from Vegas, and Scuba Steve and Travis. So let's go to Josh from Cali. Josh from Cali.
Yo, what up, Smitty? What up, man? Hey, Ron. Fucking awesome, dude. Just Saturn, brother. Just Saturn. Hey, Smitty.
Yeah.
Real quick. Raiders, first round pick, man. Man, it's crazy. I didn't expect Bowers to be there. I know you still like him, but I am a dynasty owner for Michael Mayer. What does that do to him?
They'll coexist, but I don't think they'll coexist in the way that they could have, or that I don't think Mayer's going to be as good as he could have been. He was a big sleeper of mine. Like, he was Moon Man capable. I was contemplating it, and Mayer was like, when him and Kincaid came out, they were like the 1A and 1A. They weren't even 1A and 1B. It was like whichever one landed in the better spot was probably going to, so whoever went to Buffalo. If Mayer went to Buffalo, we'd be talking about him as much as we talk about Kincaid. I'm just being real. But Bowers is better than both of them. And I love Kincaid, but Bowers is probably...
I don't think they expect him to be there. I don't think they thought Bowers was going to be there.
Yeah.
I think we thought we were going to get either Nix or Penix.
The only thing that sucks, though, is that, like, you need a quarterback, man, and I still think he'll survive, but the Raiders...
Minshew Mania, baby. Minshew Mania.
No. I mean, how long does he stay healthy? Like, I like him, but, like, you're not winning Super Bowls with Gardner Minshew, and that's what it's all about. So what are you doing? Like, and if he plays well, then you don't even get a good draft pick to get a quarterback. I think Tom Brady's a real conversation in a little bit. Dude, I know people are going to laugh.
It's just like when Jordan. It's just like when Jordan was owning the Wizards and came back and played.
I know everybody's going to. I don't know. The Tom Brady haters hate the conversation. They can't stand when you say that Brady could return. They don't want to hear it. They keep predicting it. John says Kincaid isn't doing anything. John, that's not true at all. Kincaid had amazing rookie year, bro. What are you talking about?
I think Bowers and Kincaid are going to have a similar rookie. Like, Bowers is going to have a similar rookie season to Kincaid because of me.
He doesn't have the QB for it. So if Brady does return, yes. And when you really think about what the Raiders are doing, It's like you got Michael Mayer and Bowers. You've got that Hernandez and Rob Gronkowski situation going on. Zamir White's really crafty. Devontae Adams is an attractive wide receiver to have for Brady to come back. And he keeps talking about the Raiders being that's the team he wants to have ownership in. It's like, it looks like the Cowboys decided to neglect running back. And the Cowboys have gone defensive end Marshawn Nealand.
Crazy.
So I don't know.
Hey, Smitty, what if the Raiders don't get a running back here, right? And we just stick it out with White and who you get, Madison, right? Do you think Zamir White has a better dynasty outlook than Josh Jacobs?
Zamir White, no. I think Josh Jacobs is. I think Zamir White. He's on the moon. He's on the Moon Man list, right?
Yeah.
So I love Zamir White, but Jacobs is on the Mars Man list, and so I mean that kind of tells it to you right there. But Jacobs has got like top 5 running back upside. Zamir White is a guy you want to be an elite, like zero or hero RB running back 2 for you. I like Zamir a lot, but Zamir's got a lot of, work to do before he starts climbing that high. But I love him. He's on the Moon Man list for a reason.
His underdog ADP right now.
Great.
Well, it was.
It's great.
About a 101, about 101, right? That's a huge deal.
It's zero risk.
Deal.
But they're very different.
Yeah.
They're very different in terms of their likelihood of product they're putting on the field. But I love Zamir. He was also pretty inconsistent last year, but like he didn't get a lot of run until the end, but he was hit and miss. But the Raiders offense was very, pedestrian. So for him to do what he did with that offense, it was impressive. But Dallas Cowboys punting running back here. There are a lot of running backs, though, and if Braylon Allen was to fall to the 3rd round, that would be pretty impressive if they could get Nealand and get like Braylon Allen or something. I do wonder if Blake Corum is approaching the Chargers at some point here soon. The Chargers pick not until next round.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting if he's still
in the next 10 picks, though.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. Don't you wonder if like maybe Blake Corum goes to the Baltimore Ravens to his brother?
Harbaugh's going all Michigan. Harbaugh's going all Michigan players.
Imagine if his brother takes him. They might do something where like you take him and we'll get him from you later. Detroit Lions, let's hope they don't take a running back or something crazy. Buffalo Bills could take a running back, but I doubt it. They'll probably not. I'm just saying, like, would it surprise me? Let's not act like something can't surprise us, right? Like the Falcons did something surprising. Houston's coming up at 27. That's what I want them to do, is take the best rookie running back, redraft, and arguably, comparatively to Jonathan Brooks, if they take Braylon Allen or they take Jalen Wright or they take Trey Benson, then all of a sudden...
Who do you like more out of those 3?
For Houston, probably Braylon Allen. And Trey Benson next, and then Jalen Wright probably next. I like Jalen Wright a lot, but if I'm being honest, I want something that feels... I think Braylon Allen will be phenomenal in this league if he's in the right spot. But...
Hey, I just got an offer. In my Dynasty league for... I'm a Drake owner, a Drake London owner. The guy's offering me Achane. I'm contemplating, man. I'm really on the fence about it, dude.
I probably take HM, but that is tough because it's Dynasty receivers last longer. Okay, hang tight, bro. I'm gonna go over to Brogan, and then I'm gonna go over to see if Scuba's there, and then go to Chris, and then to Travis, then back to Adam. So Brogan, you are live, my friend. What can I do for you?
I'm doing pretty good. Sorry if my voice sounds shot. I actually went to night 1 in on the ground in Detroit, so sorry if my voice sounds.
Yeah, Brogan, I really remember what your voice sounds like, and I'm it does sound different.
Yeah, sorry, man. I was just chirping.
It's okay.
Bill Belichick
I forgive you.
and Pat McAfee all day.
Okay, go ahead. What's up, bro?
Not much, man. I'm just shocked as you guys are about all the offensive players being taken in the first round here. I didn't even realize it was a record being broken until like I left the actual draft.
Yeah. I mean,
But,
bro, I think this has been a wild draft. I think it's pretty evident who's winning the second round. There's a few teams that have done fantastic. Again, giving the Chargers credit where the Chargers deserve credit. Ladd McConkey's a great pick for a second-round pick. Fantastic job. I would have graded him in the bottom of round 1. But I still don't think they made the right choices. I don't think they should have went Joe Alt, which, you know, you had a lot of people coming from my neck on the Joe Alt prediction, which I said they probably most likely take him. And everything I heard was, well, who do you move? You move Slater over to the what are you going to do with your offensive line? It's the wrong position of need on the offensive line. Look, Harbaugh doesn't even care about positions. He doesn't he doesn't care about names. He doesn't care about anything. Are you a breathing human being in alphabetical order? He'll probably organize the offensive line in alphabetical order. Like, what are we talking about here? He doesn't care, and he took Joe Alt. It wasn't the right move, in my opinion. I believe, and you could say, oh, you know more than Harbaugh. Look, I'm not saying I'm a better coach than him. I'm not a coach. But I believe I can still make opinions and guesstimations, or I wouldn't do what I do. I wouldn't sit here and try and predict what teams should do, ridicule John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan if I didn't truly arrogantly, yes, to do this business, you probably do have to be arrogant. I admit that. Arrogantly feel I do know more when I'm on the clock or something, or I wouldn't even have a passion to do this. You know, am I right all the time? Hell no. Do I get stuff wrong all the time? Absolutely. But it doesn't make sense to not draft an offensive lineman later, and there are a bunch of good ones that you could have grabbed. I mean, even Patrick Paul down at 55 was a really good pick. Like, this offensive line pool of players that were available for Harbaugh at 34 mixed with Neighbors is just a better way to build the team. I don't want to hear you're building from the trenches. I get that. But drafting Joe Alt to the point of people that came up my neck and said, why would they do that? Because he's Harbaugh. But do I agree that drafting an actual position on the offensive line that you don't directly need and now you got to move things around is better? And to grab McConkey and Joe Alt, is Joe Alt McConkey comparable maybe to a, let's call it Patrick Paul and a Neighbors or a Dunze? One could argue it's comparable maybe, but I will argue that the wide receiver, the generational wide receiver, is harder to come by than coaching up a Patrick Paul to become a near generational offensive line piece, because part of offensive line is really the coaching and staff in place and the system you have in place. The Niners prove this every year when they don't have, except for Trent Williams, they'll fill the offensive line, and granted they need to protect Purdy better and they keep having quarterback injuries, so it's kind of like the argument has some holes in it, but at the same time it doesn't, because the Niners system is one of the most complicated systems in the National Football League. There's all kinds of pulling and movement that a regular old Joe offensive lineman wouldn't be able to pick up. They do a great job of coaching the offensive lineup and getting no-name players to have one of the most effective rushing attacks in the National Football League. So regardless of Purdy and quarterbacks getting hurt, and I get that that's a problem, their offensive line still functions like one of the best in the league when they have the production they have. Offensive line is much more easily coaching, something you can coach up into greatness than grabbing a wide receiver and even McConkey, who I love, and turning them into a top like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 overall wide receiver for a generational type output. That's all I'm saying. So give me the Eagles for the winners of round 2. Give me the Eagles for the winners of the entire offseason. Give me the Cowboys for the Cowboys and the Niners. And who else, Travis, has had the worst offseason in sum total, draft included with the offseason?
I would put Falcons for
Falcons are not at a bad offseason,
like the
bro.
Falcons.
They've had a freaking amazing.
I was saying confusing, but that's all. That's all. I
confusing,
wasn't
sure.
saying bad.
Confusing,
Yeah.
sure. And you can stand your ground. You don't have to agree with me if you really think they did bad. But the bottom
I
line,
think they made some good choices. I think the way they went about it could ruffle some feathers.
maybe, but it's just some would say the Bills. You could say the Bills have a lot of proving to do still. I will not tear down somebody saying the Bills have botched.
Or the other guy getting the slowest guy in the draft.
What? Who's that? Tyler? What are you saying?
The Bills for trading down and not getting Worthy, or the other guy settling for who did they end up getting?
Yeah, I guess you could say the Bills got Keon Coleman.
Keon Coleman.
But Keon Coleman could be, but Keon Coleman could be.
They traded down again.
Keon Coleman could be better than Worthy though. Like I don't know that we can say the Bills screwed up yet. That's a player that a lot of people had as the number 4 wide receiver. So I don't know if we can really draw a full conclusion on that yet. Giants are the worst, says
Bengals.
RCT. Yeah, Bengals have kind of sat on their hands. Really, any team that needed an RB that didn't go after an RB, like Henry, Jacobs, or Barkley, in a way, can't have an A+ offseason to me. I'm not going to do it. The Chargers probably get a C right now, maybe a B- because they still got amazing talent. Like, how do you give it? You can't give it a D. You can't give it a D. You probably can't even give the Chargers a C because the talent they have is amazing. You'd have to almost give the Chargers a B- in the draft. The offseason, I'll give them an incomplete. I'll give them a F- or an I for incomplete. Chargers diarrheaed the bed in the offseason. Absolutely diarrheaed the bed. There's someone wants to dispute it. Call me up and argue with me. I'll argue with you all day long. Hold on a second, Tyler. I'll argue with you all day long on the Chargers absolutely getting an F- in the offseason. The draft, though, I give them at least a B-. You could argue even higher because Joe Alt's the best offensive lineman. McConkey is one of my favorite wide receivers. I just think the fit is ridiculous considering what you could have had and what you did to your offseason. So sum total, the Chargers are a C. Like maybe I don't give them a D because of their draft is a B-, B+, but I give them a C- or a C+, bare at the most for their sum total offseason maneuvers. So Chargers do not have the money. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Who said anything about having to spend a bunch of money? I don't know if you know, Andrew, but running backs cost about what kickers cost. Running backs are nothing. They don't cost anything, Andrew. They don't cost anything at all. So that's not an excuse. Not to mention you let Eckler walk. You don't bring in one of the big 3 running backs at dirt cheap pricing, Andrew. You get rid of Keenan Allen for a ham sandwich. You let Mike Williams walk. You bring in the all-ACL and Achilles running back team that both played for your brother's team in Baltimore. You've got J.K. Dobbins and Gus Bus as your 2 RBs. You traded, what was the other one? It did something else. Yeah, let Everett walk. This is a horrible offseason. A horrible offseason. Absolute garbage. Alphabetical order locker room. I'd throw that in there with a debacle. That's not going to go over well with big boys. Big grown men.
Yeah.
No grown man wants to sign seating anywhere they go.
This kind of reminds me of when Patricia came into the Lions locker room and said, "Hey, look at this fun thing you got, this ping pong table. I'm just going to take it away. I'm just going to take that away. Y'all don't deserve that." It kind of reminds me of that with the locker room shenanigans I'm hearing about with Harbaugh.
All right, let me go over to Brogan. Thank you, Tyler. Real quickly, Tyler, you got like 30 seconds, then I got to jump back over to Chris.
Yeah, it's a new acquisition for the Colts. Does that help Pittman or hurt him? So does that make Pittman a buy or a sell?
It depends on where his value drops now, but it absolutely kicks him in the nutsack. because everybody was expecting low-end wide receiver 1 numbers, and they shouldn't have been, because Michael Pittman's not a wide receiver 1. And the Colts just told you that by drafting Adonai Mitchell. So now he gets lowered down to size. Pittman's where he belongs, a fantasy football wide receiver 2-3. And if he drops significantly, we'll talk about it. But I don't know that he's going to drop enough. We'll have to see. All right, hold on, Tyler. Let me go over to Chris from Vegas. Chris, how you feeling, bro? Are you still living on cloud 9 right now? Your Carolina Panthers, regardless of how bad they were last year and how bad they looked walking into this draft, have had an A- minimum draft with Jonathan Brooks and Xavier Legette. How you feeling right now?
Still feeling good. Like I said earlier, Dan Morgan, Canales working together. It's good to see, GM and head coach on the same page for once, and hopefully Tepper, still stays in the background.
Bro,
I was actually going to ask you, who do you think's the next QB that comes off the board?
Rattler. Unless he went while we were talking. We had after Nealon, it went Braswell, edge rusher from Alabama, went to the Bucks. Safety Javon Bullard, that was a good pick by the Green Bay Packers. And then Fisher, offensive tackle. Cole Bishop, that's good. The Buffalo Bills need that. What?
Take a quarterback. Who would you rather see them take?
The Raiders? I want the Raiders to get Joe Milton. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah, no. That's what I was thinking too. And then, I was hoping. Not for team fandom or anything, but just for fantasy purposes, I'm hoping that the Giants end up taking a QB at some point too. I'm not sure who they will take. And then the Jets. I still think, like you said, I think it was yesterday, the Jets still need to get somebody, because Rodgers isn't going to be around much longer, so they need to start planning for the future. But why they haven't got anybody, I don't know.
Why do we get to say that about the Jets but not the Falcons? And I know you could say, well, it's a top 10 pick is why, and I get that might be people's reaction, and I can accept that at least, but it's a little frustrating to me to hear people act like Penix Jr. was a waste of a pick. It was a dumb move. Could they have gotten that edge rusher, which would have been fantastic? What's his face? Could they have gotten several different pieces, even a Dunze, that could have helped this team? Sure. But when you say this defense is already really good, and I do like the defense a lot, when you say that this offense is one of the best in the National Football League, and I say that it is, and you've got every piece in place, really, maybe some holes, but you could duct tape those holes practically. And you have one concern, and you're also Zach Robinson, and you're sitting there going, my one concern, we paid a bunch of money for this quarterback who's 36 years old, coming off an Achilles tear. And yeah, honestly, if I'm being honest, it was kind of like you guys saw my reaction. I was happy, but I wasn't. I wanted Fields. I wanted more of a long-term prospect. So I was happy, of course, but I made it pretty clear all along that I was it wasn't what I officially fully wanted first option. And if you are understanding of where this team could go from every angle and facet, every single position is kind of set up for the long term, then you understand that locking up once the money comes off the books for Cousins, and you really only are on the hook for 2 years the way the contract's set up, and people don't understand that. So you're on the hook for about 2 years. Once that money comes off the books and you need to start extending guys to keep everybody, you have Penix Jr. sitting there. And it's kind of silly to me to not look at this like one of the most genius, crafty moves for an organization and team that feels like they're already there. And if people think that it's too early, I get it, but I didn't feel that way about Penix Jr. He was in my top 10.
Yeah.
And I think that's a mix of people feeling he wasn't even top 10. He was a reach. He wasn't any good. He's too injury prone. You got a lot of mixed emotions that are negative toward Penix Jr. altogether. I'm going to talk about this tonight in a video, so I won't go too much longer. But that mixed with the fact that people like to make fun of teams, especially rivalries. And people are painting this thing like it's worse than it is. It is not the craziest move. And I've been talking about it all offseason. Not as much, admittedly, with the Falcons, but we have kicked it around, like Joe Milton, not necessarily Penix Jr., but Joe Milton getting that secure backup just in case Cousins gets hurt. Because he gets hurt, you have the same thing that happened to the Jets last year happening in Atlanta. We don't want that. What happened in New York last year cannot happen in Atlanta. What do people not understand? It's amazing. If you're into fantasy football, if we're talking about this from a fantasy football perspective, mainly in this conversation right here, why in the hell would somebody have a problem with backing up Cousins with a quarterback that could deliver top 10 fantasy production to all the positions? What is wrong with people? Are you just repeating what you hear? Because it's a fantastic move in the world of fantasy football. I see fantasy football Twitter accounts everywhere going, this is the dumbest pick I've ever seen. Get outside of the regurgitated norm comments that are just filling your inbox and your Twitter home feed, and start thinking about this from a logical perspective. The Jets need to do the same thing. On this topic, long-winded answer, the Jets better go after Milton. The Jets better go after Rattler. The Jets better go after whoever the top quarterback is, or figure something out, because they can't have what happened last year happen again. And both Cousins and Aaron Rodgers are at extremely high risk of tearing the other Achilles tendon, more so than their current healing Achilles tendon. The idea of them tearing another Achilles tendon at an age of 36 plus has me scared to death for Garrett Wilson, and did for Bijan, Kyle Pitts in London. But I'm scared zero about my Atlanta Falcon players because they did this move.
Yeah. The only reason why I would, the only reason why I said it would be confusing is not because I don't doubt Penix as a player, because I think Penix is actually really, really talented, and I think
fantastic.
If you told me that he was going to go in the eighth pick overall, I wouldn't be surprised. The only thing that kind of has me hold up is why give Kirk Cousins, a guy who's going to be in like dang near his 40s by the time his contract's done, like this much money, this many years, or not.
The best way I can explain this to you, because I think people can't wrap their head around the short-term impact of this, is similar to when, and this is a 2-year version of what I'm saying here, so you have to be creative with it. But when you're in an auction draft and you have extra money to burn, and you're like, I'm just going to throw it to overpay to get this guy because I get a reset. Like, I'm going to reset next year. Doesn't matter. It's not like you got to use the money. Even though it's from a 2-year perspective, this contract has an out coming out of 2 years. And Cousins wouldn't have signed if you said we're only signing you to a 1 or a 2-year deal. They had to give him the long-term deal, but they packaged it in a way that they have an out after 2 years. And they're not worried about, given all of the value they have on the team locked up, they're ready to win. They're not worried about overpaying through the roof for 2 years, because year 3, they get all that freed up. They're not even worried about it. So year 3, they have Penix Jr., who then can play year 3, year 4, and essentially his 5th-year contract year, he might have already proven himself into an extension at that point. And let's say Cousins plays 3 years. Then you have him playing his 4th year just like Love did, and you give him his 5th-year option if he didn't prove it quite yet in that 4th year. And it's the exact same Jordan Love blueprint, which is what they said. But for people not to see that having Cousins on a 2-year deal, essentially, and overpaying him just to make sure they're good, and then having the guy they really believe is, you know what? We didn't. Look at the Raiders. What if the Raiders had said the same? What if the Falcons had said what the Raiders said? Hey, let's go ahead and not go address quarterback. We're going to get it in the draft. and then you don't get what you think you're going to get. Now look at the Raiders. The Raiders don't have a quarterback. They thought they would get Nix or Penix Jr., so they didn't go after Cousins. They didn't go after they have no quarterback. Now, granted, they're picking 8, the Falcons, so they were going to get somebody, but Penix Jr., there were teams that were going to move up for Penix Jr. Just like Gibbs was taken, and people were like, oh, Gibbs got taken too early. Teams were going to move up for Jahmyr Gibbs. People don't know what they're talking about. People think they can regurgitate what they hear. Oh, running backs don't go early. You know how many people said to me, Bijan's not going in the top 10 over and over and over all offseason, but yet both Gibbs and Bijan go in the top 10? And you know how many people tell me that over and over and over, that something's not going to happen, like Penix is not going in round 1? He went at number 8. Penix Jr. is phenomenal. Penix Jr. has had 2 straight years without injury to prove himself. And what do people then say? He's old. Well, what do you want? Him to prove he's no longer injury prone for 2 straight years? And now he's too old? Or do you want him to come out after 1 year unproven to stay healthy? Then you don't want him then. Like, what's he supposed to do? And 24 years old, get out of here with that being old. Look at Jordan Love. He sat forever. And if Penix Jr. is 26 years old, how did Kurt Warner have a Hall of Fame career starting at about 26, 27 years old? He certainly did. Can Penix Jr. play a minimum of 10 years starting his career at 26 years old? The answer is abso-freaking-lutely. So get out of here with your age comments. And it's a quarterback. It's not an RB. This is quietly like the Jahmyr Gibbs move. Everybody that made fun of the Jahmyr Gibbs move to the Detroit Lions are the same people running their mouth about Penix Jr. to Atlanta. Now where are those people now? Is Jahmyr Gibbs... I don't hear anybody. Was Jahmyr Gibbs a mistake? Did this landing spot not make sense? Are the Lions idiots for drafting Jahmyr Gibbs? I don't hear anybody.
Like you said, for the long term, this is great for Dynasty with London and Pitts and Bijan. It solidifies them so much more in Dynasty.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to say, I'm going to say I'm not going to be surprised if this kind of QB switch happens within the year. I would not be surprised because there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee if Cousins can play to the degree that he's been, especially coming off the Achilles. No. And, he said that his dropbacks have been affected by it. So it's we're definitely not going to be seeing him running around. There's a really good chance, honestly, that by week 17, Kirk Cousins is out of the conversation. He's just basically an open backup.
And I'm going to say this tonight because I don't want to go over this too much because it's going to just be me regurgitating the content for tonight's show. But it would not surprise me at all, is what you'll hear tonight too, that we have potentially Penix Jr., the star of this team from the quarterback position, walking into the 2025 season uncontested. And it's what a waste of a contract. Which, look, you hear a single person talking about Trey Lance anymore in San Francisco? No? Was that a debacle above all debacles? 3 first-rounders? Do you hear a single person worried about it inside Atlanta? Do you think a single person's going to be upset about Kirk Cousins getting overpaid if let's say he got hurt? If Penix Jr. is in the lineup and playing amazingly? No one's going to care. So that let's move on because I don't want to ruin tonight's topic. Let me go over to let's see here. Who was I talking to? Was that Brogan or was that Adam from Denver? That I was just
a little bit of both of us, but I'm going to be heading out, so you'll have a good one.
Who's this? Who's heading out? I can't tell you apart. Brogan. All right, later, bro.
See you later, man.
All right, let me go to Adam from Denver. Adam, what else you got, bro? And then I'm going to drop you from the line. I'm going to circle you guys off. Go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. Real big fan of the Ben Sinnott pick in Washington. Thought that was a great pick for them. I was really hoping that Javon Bullard would fall to the 3rd round so Denver would have a chance, but they still have a chance for... How would you feel about Troy Franklin reuniting with Bo Nix in Denver?
I love Troy Franklin at this stage in the draft. He is one of the biggest steals on the board right now. I think
Denver's not too far off.
We did a rookie wide receiver ranking video, which we gotta redo now. Let me see if I can even find that board to throw up. I want to throw that board up on the screen here. Rookie wide receivers. I can't find it right now, but I have a rookie wide receiver ranking video. Trade. The Jets are on the clock. Did the Niners trade down?
Yeah, the Chiefs traded up one spot with the Niners, and then I guess the Niners are trading back again.
Okay, so offensive tackle for the Chiefs. That's I suppose a good pick. I don't know a lot about him, to be honest with you. We're getting to the point where like I'm not gonna BS you guys. Like I don't know the offensive linemen one from the other at this point. I mean I know their names, I know who they are, but like I don't have the metrics in front of me. Do I really know? Let's see what happens here. Running back run after Carolina pick. Says, who said that? Running back, I expect the running back run. That's Prime. Prime says that. Which do you prefer more, though, Smitty, Corley or Franklin? Corley's probably the biggest steal, I suppose, and then Frank. But both of them are. And you got to ask the question here: did the Niners crap all over themselves? You know, like look at they could have got DeJean.
No, they took their pick. San Fran took their pick.
Yeah, they're
no. I'm saying they could have got DeJean, and instead of getting DeJean and potentially Franklin or Corley, you take Parasol and you miss out on DeJean. I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all.
Yeah, that is kind of a whiff.
You know, like what are you doing there? Let me see if I can put. So let me put the top 16 on the board here from each side. Hold on a second. Let me redo this board here. So Buffalo took Coleman. I'm going to go down to, I'm going to put 16 on each side so it's a little cleaner. There's 1 through 16. And then let me put 17. 1 second. Let me just screenshot this, guys. Hang tight. The Niners took cornerback Bernardo Green. I guess he's okay. What do you guys know much about Green? I don't know a whole lot about him.
Not really. He was pretty deep in the...
Yeah, he's got a decent profile, but I don't know if he's going to be like a gem or something.
And then the Jets just traded up with the Panthers.
The Jets took Corley?
They're taking Corley is what I see.
Oh, you think or you know?
They just traded up with the Panthers.
I just got a tweet from someone that said Corley.
Yeah, they're taking Corley, baby. Oh, yeah. Man. Oh, that's amazing.
New England's about to pick too. I don't think Patriots have taken.
Oh, Malachi Corley.
I wanted him for the Patriots so bad.
Woo, Malachi Corley. You know, like again, the Niners should have taken DeJean and Corley. That's an A+ day. If the Niners would have taken DeJean and Malachi Corley, that's an A+ day. I think that you take Parasol in round 1 instead. That's I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking.
I mean, if they really wanted Parasol, they could have traded back. I don't think many people were going to reach that high for him.
Honestly, I give the Niners a D draft. They got a decent receiver for sure. I love Parasol, but the order of that is just backwards. Like, what in the hell are you thinking? Malachi Corley and I like Malachi Corley slightly more than Parasol. I like Parasol a lot, but I like Malachi Corley more, and you could have got Malachi Corley and DeJean. DeJean was the guy. Woo!
Well, yeah, it looks like it is Malachi Corley to the Jets.
That's fantastic. That is fantastic. Rodgers is going to love this kid.
I have Garrett Wilson in my Dynasty League as like a 11th round pick. He's still you think he gets better or slightly worse with that?
Andrew, I'm sorry, but I missed your super chat. Andrew, you still here? I'm sorry. Ask the question again.
I was saying I have Garrett Wilson in Dynasty. Do you think that improves his value, or
it could help,
or like improves his production, or makes it slightly worse?
It could help him. It could help him. Is there a chance it hurts him? Maybe, like if Corley becomes even way better than I even think he is. He's a yak machine, but I think it's going to make it. It's going to make it tough for for defenses to guard. Mike Williams will play good when he's there, but will he get hurt? This is a great move. I think they need to really hit. If they hit Milton, if the Jets hit Milton later in the draft or Rattler, smash of a draft for the Jets. Andrew, you still here, bro? I'm sorry I missed your $20 hauler. Andrew is the man, the myth, the legend. I don't know if he's still here. Andrew Oakey's still here. I'm so sorry, bro. I made a vow to. It's just this draft has got me distracted. $20 hauler.
Super chat alert.
Unbelievable, my boy. And don't forget, guys, this video's tonight. Ron with the $1,000 super chat tonight. What a beast. What a freaking beast. This super chat here, I know we didn't have the greatest offseason, but if we win games, that's all that matters. I never draft Chargers players in fantasy. Love your channel, Smitty. I would have a beer or two with you as I live in Chandler. Andrew, DM me on Instagram. Let me know if you could what your Instagram handle is, or what it begins with if you don't want to put the whole handle in here. And I'll put you in the Arizona chat group that I have. And I don't chat like super often in there. It's not what I mean by it, but when I do local like events, if I do live streams from like Lou Molinati's in Central Phoenix, I do a lot of streams from. If I do that, I'll let you know so that you can come down and hang out with the Arizona subscribers and followers that I kind of collect, so that we do local stuff. So DM me, Andrew. Appreciate you with the $20 hauler, and I appreciate you not taking offense to my hard Chargers talk. You don't have Instagram? Okay, well, I'll announce it. You'll hear it on the channel when I do a stream. You know what I mean? You can come down and hang out. Appreciate you, Chandler, Arizona, my man. And make sure you call on the phone line a lot. I don't know if you call in or if you're the Andrew that calls in, but I appreciate you. Wow, guys. I'm probably going to do I have Venmo? Yes, I do, sir. Yes, I do. The Fantasy Football Show, Andrew. It's The Fantasy Football Show. Don't forget the. That's my Venmo, my guy. I appreciate you. I don't know if you're sending something right now. Let me know. I'll check. I don't know. Are you going to beat Ron Navy? Benson to the Cardinals. New wide receiver core. Benson to the Cardinals. Like, are you just projecting something? I'm so behind. I don't even know who's on the clock right now. He just got me.
I haven't seen anything about Benson to the Cardinals yet, but
would that be? Oh my God.
It would make sense. Granted, I am
Benson to the Cardinals. Holy!
Hell yeah!
Holy shit! The Cardinals got a 150% out of 100 grade. Trey Benson to the Cardinals. Holy crap! Holy crap! Unbelievable. The Cardinals are crushing the draft right now.
The Cardinals going to win the NFC West.
Holy crap. The Cardinals could easily be in contention for the NFC West right now. And watch Niner fans act like that's just stupidity. Oh my God, the Cardinals. Yay. We don't have any problems. How are you going to win the NFC? Oh my God. Oh my God. I didn't even really cross my mind that the Arizona Cardinals were going to take Benson. First of all, I didn't think he'd fall to the third. The Cardinals are going to be insane. Holy crap. Holy crap. This is probably the best draft grade that I could give a team. And you guys, I've given the Cardinals D's and F's before. This is not a biased man sitting in front of you. The Cardinals have had the most remarkable draft I've seen in a long, long time. Probably since the Jets drafted all the players they drafted that year, but then it got ruined by Zach Wilson not actually working out. Oh my God. What a move by the Cardinals. Unbelievable. Trey Benson, Malachi Corley, the two best players left on the board, went at the first pick in the third round. And wow, and the Cardinals have 3 picks in this round. Okay, you know what? Let me say sorry to Monty Ossenfort for my earlier comment and saying he shouldn't have traded out. Cardinals are gonna freaking be in contention this year for the NFC West. And if I got C-Mac or anybody in here that wants to call in and pretend that your itty-bitty Niners are going to take down the Cardinals like they're nothing, I'm waiting for you. Dial in. Look at this. The Cardinals have the 71 overall pick, 66 on the clock right now. The Cardinals have the 79 overall pick. Holy crap. Wow. Travis. The Cardinals have potentially one of the best 4 in the National Football League. Like, Trey Benson's still got a lot to prove, but he's arguably the number 2, some would say number 1 running back in this class. You've got the second best tight end in the league in Trey McBride. You know, maybe some would say like Laporta, McBride, and then there's a tier break. You know, so you got the second best tight end in the league in Trey McBride. You got a top 5 to 10 quarterback in Kyler Murray. How do you keep him out of the top 5? Like, he's going to dance in there. You got the number 1 future wide receiver in the National Football League in Marvin Harrison Jr. in my mind, or you at least have to say 1 to 5. You have a top 12 running back potential easily in Trey Benson. Like, this is potentially the very... Scuba, call back in. You were on mute earlier. We tried to go to you. But Scuba, you got to call back in and get another 30 seconds. Unbelievable, Cardinals. We're going live on the Cardinals a little later. I got Marvin Harrison Jr. in the graphic, but I'm going to put Trey Benson in the graphic. And unbelievable. Cardinals get I don't even know what score to give them. It's like A++. Would it be honor roll? Would it be summa cum laude? Like, what are the Cardinals getting? They can't just get an A+. This is the best draft they could have had. Just drafting Marvin Harrison Jr. alone gives you an A. Oh my God. Trey Benson. Wow. I've never experienced a draft like this for the Cardinals. Travis, any final thoughts, bro? I'm gonna go and come back.
Yeah. No, just I think Patriots might go offensive line here. I think I already saw it, so not a surprise. But I'm happy with Polk in the second. You know, I'll have to see if they regret not taking Adonai Mitchell though. That'll be the big second guess. So, all
right, bro. Appreciate you.
I'll see you when you come back. All right.
Summa cum laude. That's what they're getting. This is the person giving the speech. Summa cum laude. This is the valedictorian of the draft, the Arizona Cardinals. Unbelievable. All right, later, Travis. Adam, you have any final thoughts from Denver?
Bye.
Any final thoughts, Adam?
No, sir. Just ready for Denver to pick in the next 6 picks. Hopefully we get something good.
Yeah. Hopefully you do, bro. All right, call back tonight on the Arizona Cardinals show. We're doing an Arizona Cardinal live stream. All right, later, bro. Woo! Summa cum laude. Valedictorian. Unbelievable. I'm going to pass out. Cardinals looking dangerous. Wow. Yeah, all birds are tearing it up. Eagles, Cardinals. I can't wait for Raj and the boys and all the Niner fans are going to be like, oh, the Cardinals are still bad. Cardinals are still bad. Oh, your Cardinals are so bad. Guess who's going like this and who's going like this, buddy boys? Guess who, in the NFC West, guess who's climbing? And the Niners are still there. And thank you, poor Blackbeard. This guy's thick skin. Comes in here, he's my moderator. He's a diehard Niner fan. He has to hear me complain about the Niners all the time. I'm sorry, Blackbeard. You know I appreciate you. But here's this, and here's the Niners. And for Blackbeard's sake, let's just say the Niners barely dip, okay? Christian McCaffrey getting older, Kittle, a little bit of window closing, but let's just keep them high for Blackbeard's sake. Hey, guess who's doing this? Oh, fancy seeing you here. I'm the Arizona Cardinals. Hi, I'm the 49ers. We should be here, but we got a coach that he's an offensive coordinator pretending to be a head coach. Yeah, well, we're the Cardinals. We have Trey Benson, Marvin Harrison Jr., Kyler Murray. Fancy seeing you at the top. Oh, bro. Blackbeard to the moon. Love Blackbeard. Drink some water. I don't need to drink water, bro. I'm flying high.
The Saturn Men.
One small step for man, one giant leap for Saturn.
Look at him. I have a feeling on this show tonight, I'm going to change the graphic, put Trey Benson in there, just peeking over from the corner. There might be a new Mars man added. He might be a running back. He may or may not have a bird for a mascot. He may or may not play with this absolute monster of a fantasy football giant here. Malachi Corley, Deebo Samuel 2.0 going to the New York Jets, followed by Trey Benson going to my Arizona Cardinals at the what was the pick? At the 66 overall, third round. Where's Braylon Allen go? Where's this running back run is probably happening as we speak. Let me refresh real quickly. Offensive guard just got selected. Malachi Corley, such an amazing pick by the Jets, man. I have a feeling as soon as I end the live stream, the running back run is going to happen. Tempted to wait and see if the Chargers take Blake Corum here at 66, but I believe they just selected. The Giants are selecting Phillips. Yeah, so the Chargers passed on Blake Corum. I don't know that the Chargers have another pick coming up. I don't think they do for a while, so I think they're going to lose Blake Corum. So Blake Corum's probably not going to be a Charger unless they trade up. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So the Patriots ended up taking, let's see here. Let me refresh. The NFL draft tracker on NFL.com is so behind. It's so behind. So the offensive guard, Brandon Coleman, went to the Washington Commanders. The Chargers took Michigan linebacker Junior Colson. Smitty, tell me what the Chargers are going to do. I'll tell you exactly what the Chargers are going to do. Draft non-flashy guys, reorder their locker room in alphabetical order, draft Michigan players. Not saying he's not good, but like you're drafting a Michigan linebacker, of course you are. If you're Harbaugh, I'm surprised they didn't draft Blake Corum. Jeez. Patriots got offensive tackle Caden Wallace. Okay, don't hate that. Trey Benson. Wow. Okay, Super Chats before we leave. Superfish, another great pick for your Cardinals. Thank you, Superfish. Appreciate your $2 hauler. Thank you, Spencer, for the $2 hauler. Adonai Mitchell will be number 3 best receiver in this draft. He landed in a great spot in Indy, bro. He really did. Adonai Mitchell to the moon in Indy. That's a great selection. Smitty, you're a freaking riot. Thank you, Space Ricky. Appreciate you moderating this live stream like you always do. Thank you, Travis, for moderating. Thank you, Blackbeard, for moderating. Thank you for any of my other mods that are in the building. And if I forget to thank anybody, I'm sorry. Thank you to my super chatters, Rock Out, Problem Bless, John, Kerry, JB, Romez, Coble, Ron Navy, Andrew with the $20 hauler, Superfish with the $2 hauler, Spencer with the $2 hauler, Space Ricky with the $2 hauler, and then Ron Navy became a legend tonight on the channel, dropping the biggest super chat in the history of the channel, and obviously for this year. We're going to put this on the unicorn board. Ron Navy dropping a thou.
He is a unicorn.
Ron Navy dropping a thou, which is unbelievable. All-time super chat has been beat. Ron Navy dropping 1 thou. Unreal Ron is what we call him. Unreal Ron. Thank you, Ron Navy. We're going to create a button for when something's unreal. We'll call it a Ron. That's a Ron. That's unbelievable. That's a Ronnie boy. You just pulled a Ronnie boy. You just did the unthinkable. Mr. Frost coming in strong with a $2 holler at the end. He says play the Saturn Men music too. Will do, Mr. Frost. Appreciate your $2 holler. Let's go. Someone said it was $102 technically. That's true. Let me go actually and remedy that real quickly. You're right. You're correct.
He is a unicorn.
Appreciate you guys all watching the draft here. Let me just real quickly click on this tracker and see if we got any updates for running backs. I just want to make sure I got all the running backs listed. Did anybody take another running back? Let's see here. I don't see anything yet. I think the running back run is probably going to commence here shortly. I want Ron Navy animation, says Chris from Vegas. We'll definitely do one. We'll definitely do I think maybe anybody ever drops like $100 holler, I'll be like the Ron Navy chant song or something. All right, I'll see you all tonight for the live stream that is scheduled and set. It's Marvin Harrison Jr. It's going to be at 12:30 a.m. Eastern, 9:30 p.m. Arizona time, California time. And it'll be about the Arizona Cardinals. I can tell you that right now. And guess who's a Saturn man?
The Saturn Men.
One small.
I lied to you all, and I apologize. I dispatched a ninth shuttle to Saturn when I said I'd only send 8 people, but we'll be talking about this tonight.
The Saturn Men.
One small step for man, one giant leap for Saturn.
Spaceman.
Cardinal live stream, a.k.a. Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey Benson live stream tonight. Trey McBride live stream tonight. Look at this. Look at this crew. Is there a better 4 in the National Football League? I mean, let's think about it. Like, is there a better 4 players in the National Football League than Kyler, Marvin Harrison Jr., McBride, and Trey Benson? And Benson's probably going to be a moon man tonight. So make sure you don't miss tonight's show. Is there a better 4? Like, someone throw a better 4 at me. And I'm talking about the quad. You know, you got like Cousins, London, Pitts, and Bijan. You know, it's certainly up there. And you throw Penix Jr. cuffed to Cousins, is up there for sure. But is there another foursome? You could say Purdy, Deebo, McCaffrey, and both wide receivers, and Kittle. Like, that, it's an interesting, but like, is there a better 4? Jalen Hurts, Barkley, A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith, certainly there. I mean, you could even argue that's better. Tua, Achane, Tyreek, Waddle. I mean, there are some good 4s. This is right there, though. Like, they're right there. This is like, they're all neck and neck. We got to have like the foursome, like, you know, like board. The foursome board. Puka, Kyron, Stafford, Cup. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good 4s. But, man, the Cardinals are up there. NFC West, here the Cardinals come. Niner fans, get petrified. All right, I'll see you all later. Thank you, Ron. Thank you, everybody. Live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday. Live when big news breaks. Appreciate you all. See you all later.
Got him.